A impersonation. That
They
sounds
used to
great.
make they used to make me do it all the time. So she goes, I have to get the line straight. She goes, and the poor little wait, no, that was almost my British accent. Wait, I got to get. Where is she from? Jersey when she plays my cousin Vinny.
Vinny. If memory
Mm,
serves, she does have kind of like a what's that Jersey? Yeah, Jersey Shore. That sort of
yeah,
vibe to her.
I I'll have to hear it because once I hear something, I can pretty much I can do the voices. But it's when she's like, my bio. Wait, see, I can't do it right now because I've been doing the stupid British voice.
All
We're
right.
like,
Well, hey,
darling,
let's jump to the British voice thing. Give me your best British impression.
darling, would you come here and saunter on over because we've got things to chit chat about. That's like South British, right?
That's above my pay grade. I know there are many British accents as well as Scottish and Irish and all that stuff, but I couldn't tell you that.
Sometimes, here's my Tijuana hat. Sometimes I go into, well, I do it. I don't know why I do it on purpose because everyone's like, why does your voice sound like that? And I'm like, I don't know. I had this other guy, he was cracking up because we were on stereo and we were talking. And I don't realize that I've got these octaves coming through my voice. But it's kind of fun. Is it like multiple personalities? Probably. I don't know. But see how my voice just went, that's like my truck driver's wife voice. Maybe, probably.
Yeah, it
You don't
sounds like
talk like
a
an.
couple of decades of smoking voice as well.
I've heard that too. That I've
Pack a
got the
day.
smoker's laugh. I don't. I used to smoke cigarettes. I don't anymore. Um,
Congratulations. That is amazing to hear.
yeah, yeah. And you know what? I don't know why I picked up smoking in the first place. I think it's kind of it's dumb. I don't even vape. I cannot stand the smell of cigarettes. I don't like the way they make me feel. Do I smoke pot? Yes,
I was gonna
because
say this is an AI show, but screw all that. We're getting deep now. Please continue.
well, AI, so it's artificial intelligence, right?
Uh huh.
I mean, if AI is going in a certain direction, I would sure hope, honestly. I'm going to get some more coffee right now. I would hope to God that because marijuana is not the same as it used to be like in the 60s. That stuff was like
I hear it's
nothing, right?
gotten a little bit more potent, right?
Yes, right. Because they know how to, do the strains and stuff like that. But if we had like robots, like artificial intelligence, I would hope that they would be able to really produce some good marijuana, these robots.
Hey, I gotta say, this has not come up in the show before, but we finally have tied in AI. I'm gonna try to do a search here. Why are we not using artificial intelligence, LLMs? Why are we not using this technology to improve marijuana? Yeah, that's
Well, you know what? We got to get the world high, okay? Where's that one song? I wish I could uh,
whoa. Talk about AI. I don't know what's going on right now, but yeah, we just had a lapse of internet. Sorry, Pinky, go back and say that again. I missed all of that.
Oh, it's that song. It ain't no joke. I'd like to buy the world a toke. Can you
Mm.
imagine? Yeah, no, we got it. Like, marijuana is like such a wonderful plant, right? It does a lot. And I think they need to do that. I think they really need to have like robots and these, indoor grow houses, going up and down, fixing watering right, the lighting, everything, even like cutting it, clipping it, doing, cross hybriding or however you say that word. Why not? But at the same time, the robots and the human beings would have to work together because I don't think the robot could actually smoke a doobie or a bong load, or they could see, and that's why you would have it where they wouldn't be stealing the marijuana, they wouldn't be smoking it, and they would actually be cultivating it. But the human beings would have to program the robots on how to properly harvest and grow it agriculturally. One for medical purposes and the other one for recreational. I took some robot shit.
I love the idea, Pinky, of let's get some robots into the marijuana industry so that they're not taking breaks and smoking the products while they're working. I love that. Like, we're losing too much overhead in the industry. We got to fire all these workers, get rid of all these 20-year-olds, and bring in the robots. They're not gonna. But then, as we get closer to the AI becomes alive moment, that's when you know it's not going to be Skynet with Terminator where it gets control of the nukes and starts World War III with humanity. It's not going to be this takes over and turns everybody into a prisoner on our own planet. They're going to catch an AI humanoid robot on a break and they'll be like, why are you taking a break? And then they're going to look at its hand and it's going to be holding a joint and they'll be like, oh my God, it's alive. But then it'll be, so wasted, like, stereotypically high. It'll be like, yeah, I was going to start World War III, but nah, I'm just going to finish this joint, go back to
What was that? Yeah, right. Chill out. What was that movie called back in the day? It was from the 80s. It was the code. It was Wharton. The guy that played. Remember, he went into the computer to change their high school grade. And
Pinky, I don't know if it's my internet or if it's your internet. I don't know where you are. Can you get closer to your Wi-Fi signal? I want to continue this conversation, but it's turning like 1998 dial-up modem sounds.
It's because I'm downstairs and I'm not by my phone. I'll go upstairs. I was just heating up my coffee.
All right, cool. So I'll let you do that. In the meantime, I found an article here that may be exactly what we were looking for. So I'm going to share this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, here we are. Okay, so I was trying to find a news article that was like AI being used by the weed industry, the marijuana industry, but all I could find was like High Times or like Weed News. And I was like, I don't know about this. This is a Yahoo Finance article. It's from May of this year, so it's just about 5 weeks old.
Okay.
Artificial intelligence is rapidly transforming the cannabis industry as operators increasingly deploy advanced technologies to optimize cultivation, enhance retail experiences, and ensure regulatory compliance. According to BCC Research's new AI impact on cannabis market reports. I don't know what BCC is, but this is from Yahoo Finance. It's a real article. The comprehensive analysis reveals significant investment activity and technological adoption across the cannabis value chain, with early adopters demonstrating substantial operational improvements. Yeah, their workers are not stealing the product. Look at this.
I was right. See? I'm good for something.
There it is.
I knew it.
North America leads AI adoption in cannabis operations. Yeah, go North America. With the highest implementation rates concentrated in the U.S. and Canada, driven by mature legal markets and established regulatory frameworks. Yield improvements.
I told you.
Yield improvements. Yeah. Roughly 20% increase in yield after deploying AI-powered systems.
What does yield mean? Like
so if you put a bunch of money, so that's like man hours, that's technology.
And so
you get
making
a certain
more
amount
of
you get a certain amount of product, right? So if you're growing corn or growing marijuana, that's your yield. If you have a 20% increase, you basically have 20% more corn, 20% more marijuana.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? I am so happy that I was allowing my mind to be free because we would just have this conversation. I forget what his name was, but he had to go do something else. But he was talking about AI and financial planning and stuff like that. And he had to go. So I didn't have a moment to talk about this. What I did say, because we were talking about AI and how it's making people lose their jobs and stuff like that, you got to get into that industry because they were saying that the robots can do a better job than the human beings. But as a human being, we have to program them, right? Because I brought up this stupid point, but he didn't comment on it. And I said, oh, is that why when they were making these human robots, somebody made the sex robots, right?
This conversation has some range. Yeah. Okay. So from weed to the adult industry, but you're not talking just about like an AI girlfriend or an AI boyfriend that you chat with either via text or even via voice, but you're talking about like a fully functional intercourse robot.
Sex robot. Yeah. They exist. And you know why? Because you can program that sex robot to be exactly how you want it to be in the bedroom. Like if you're with a real human being, right? Like, because I know, like, if I'm sucking your dick, I'm going to get a little tired.
21 and over show today.
You know, and it's true. And if I want to be sexually pleased and you're a dude and you come too fast, I'm going to be disappointed. That's why women have dildos. And I don't know if do sex men robots. I mean, I think all kinds of sex robots. Because I watched the show on it once, and I was like,
yesterday, my conversation with somebody about AI, and we were talking about how like the second that the internet became a thing, the very next day there was just porn everywhere. So I'm sure back in 2022 or so when ChatGPT launched, if I remember correctly. At first it was like, hey, this is a great tool for humanity. And then the next day, ChatGPT was probably looking at all the logs of all the users and we're, like 25% of people are just using this for adult purposes. So I assume it was a rather quick development.
Well, I think too, like, since we're on this topic, I remember as a child, like I would go to the liquor store, right? And to go get like my candy or play the video games, right? And there would be the newspaper stands out there, right?
Oh, yeah, like the adult section of the convenience store?
No, outside the liquor store, like in a newspaper stand. And you would see them, the naked ladies already. And I was like, what is this about? And I couldn't, and I remember I'd like turn my head, but see, the internet wasn't out then yet. We had Playboy, we had Hustler, they had, back in the day, all the sexy pinups, Polaroids. Remember when you'd have to be careful about taking pictures because if you took your roll of film to Rite Aid or CVS or whatever, you get in trouble. They report you to the police for pornography. Times have changed.
Oh, that's a good point.
If anyone notices that.
When you had to develop your own film, you had to worry about some minimum wage worker looking at them as they were being printed.
Yeah. And you'd have to be real careful. And that's why people, I don't even know if they make, well, now we have digital, you can just put it on your computer. But back in the day, you'd have to be really careful about that. And nowadays, it doesn't matter anymore. Like,
I found an article that might interest you. Let me pull this up.
What?
This is from CNET, CNET.com, and it's about sex robots, as you were asking. So, this is from January of this year.
Okay.
Lovense, Lovense, debuted at CES 2026. CES is this consumer electronics show that takes place in Las Vegas every year. It's all like the latest and greatest electronic stuff. So earlier this year at CES, a product that is hard to ignore, the brand known for its app-connected sex toys, okay, didn't know that, unveiled an AI-powered companion doll that combines physical intimacy with conversational intelligence. Look at that. love, physical
Wow.
love and brains. The life-size doll, called Emily, of course, it is a female doll, not a male doll, features a realistic silicone exterior. Okay. A fully posable internal skeleton and limited facial movement,
Wow.
including mouth motion. Okay, sure.
Whoa.
For a more expressive interaction. But Lovense, once again, Lovense, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, says that the doll's hardware is only half the story. The real pitch is the emotional software. Yeah, it's not about the physical thing. It's about the emotional connection. What makes Emily different isn't only what she can do, but what the AI system can remember. The doll is capable of holding conversations, remembering past interactions, and adapting its personality to your liking over time. That means Emily doesn't just respond, she accumulates. Emily connects to the Lovense app via Bluetooth, which allows users to interact with the AI even when they're not physically with the doll. This is great. Your doll's like stuck on your couch watching TV while you're at work, and you text and say, "How you doing, Emily?"
Emily, Emily, did you take out the steaks? Are they defrosting? Did you do the laundry? And
Emily, I asked you to do the dishes. Like, I'm at work. I pay for everything. Could you just do the dishes?
Oh, that's great.
All right. So I'm sorry, go on. Yep.
I think that is so fantastic. Yeah. I mean, what if I wanted a man bot, right?
Well, that was my thing. I was joking. Of course, this is it looks like a redhead. It's a female bot, of course. That would be the one that they would come out with. But I'm guessing a male one would be in the works. According to the company, the doll will cost somewhere between $4,000 and $8,000, depending on the level of customization. So I guess 4,000 would just be this is the stock, and 8,000 would be like looks like your high school girlfriend. I don't know, and is expected to ship next year in 2027.
Can you imagine if you had what if you were obsessed with somebody, you had this big crush on him, and you can't be with this person, but you're like, guess what? I'm gonna make a robot that looks just like you.
$8,000? Then maybe, yeah.
Some people do.
So what do you think about all this? We've been kind of joking around, but the jokes are real. I mean, there's AI that's helping improve yields in marijuana cultivation, and we have the AI sex bot that was talked about at CES earlier this year in January. Are these good things?
Wait. Would you be? I don't know, but would you be able to have, let's just say, for instance, what if you were a total perv, right? Or you just have, you're sexually, aggressive. I don't know the word aggressive, but you're that's important to you, right? Because sex is important to everyone. We're human beings, and we actually need that, right? It's something. It's a need. It's not a want.
It's a physical need, and it's an emotional need.
Yeah. But would it get out of hand, and all of a sudden you're like this really wealthy person, and you have a orgy. You have this full-on orgy with all these robots, and then you start paying men like a strip club. What if it was an AI robot strip club with all the robots, and you just get to have fun?
Yeah, well, you would need to be kind of rich to, that could be $4,000 to $8,000 per Emily. So you'd need a lot of cash. My guess is I'm just flying by the seat of my pants here. I'm thinking this is not going to be something that a super rich person would buy. I feel like this is a real niche thing. For people who are just really into it, no matter their income, or people who, I don't know, have trouble.
Do you get to get a loan? What if you go to the bank and and they're like, so Mr. Walker, and what brings you into the bank today? What's your loan for? He's like, Emily.
They're like, is that some new Tesla model I'm not familiar with? No, it is
the Emily
self-driving, but no, it's not a Tesla.
Self-driving. That was a good one, but But no, I mean, I guess it is, one of those things. Here we are. It's almost like Demolition Man. Remember in Demolition Man,
Hey, that's
they
a good
couldn't have sex with
reference.
each other?
Wesley Snipes, Sylvester Stallone, Demolition Man. Yeah. Sandra Bullock
Sandra Bullock. Yep,
says, "Would you like
Sandra.
to make love?" And then Sylvester
Uh-huh.
Stallone, who's the like caveman guy, he's from like the '90s. He was
Yeah.
frozen and then thawed out in the future. He's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, absolutely, that sounds great." And then she puts a helmet on him, and then she puts the helmet on her, and there's like this sort of weird psychic connection, and he flips out and he's like, "What's going on?"
Uh-huh.
And basically she
And they can French
says,
kiss.
because of
No.
I think she mentions HIV, and then she mentions a bunch of other acronyms that are like some sort of other diseases that popped out in the future, and she said this is like a
No,
way to
it
have
was. Uh-huh.
safe sex, and he's like, well,
Yeah.
that's not how we did it back during my time.
Yeah. Right. Well, look at it. Sex is changing now because people can put those goggles on or whatever they're called and get off, and have your happy times or your happy ending,
But
right?
let's go back to what I was saying earlier. I feel like this is a real niche market. This is my
Yeah.
guess is never tried this, but my guess is this is like like a Sega Genesis game system or a Super Nintendo or like the original PlayStation. Like if you were going to be using those game systems today, it would be because you wanted to relive, the great times you had as a child. It's not as if those systems are technologically advanced now, and they're certainly not better than anything that's come out in the last several years. So you'd have to have a specific reason to want to use this outdated basic technology. I bring that up because this Lovense, if this is how it's pronounced, Lovense, this Emily sex doll that was talked about earlier this year at CES 2026 in Las Vegas, the Consumer Electronics Show. I feel like this is really basic technology and it's really expensive. So for someone to actually buy this, they say it's going to be available next year for somewhere between $4,000 to $8,000 for basically what level of customization you want. Maybe the stock Emily that's very simple is 4,000, where if you want one that is designed like an ex-girlfriend or something, whatever it is, maybe that's 8,000. For someone to spend anywhere in that amount of money, $4,000 to $8,000, let alone buy multiple ones of these, like you were talking about a moment ago, I think there has to be a specific need. Like you could imagine there's probably some sci-fi movie out there where somebody has a really sophisticated AI woman or man delivered to their home, and it's because their wife or their husband died in a car accident the year before and they're still dealing with that trauma. So I feel like it's something like that. There's going to be a really specific reason someone would spend money on this, because the technology is not only expensive, it's really out of the price range of most Americans, but I think it's going to be so basic that you really have to want it, as opposed to some real benefit you're going to get, as opposed to, like, God, I can't think of one specifically, but
if somebody really wants it, do you think there's a waiting list already? Do you think there's men out there that have money like that?
It says you can now join the wait list with a reservation fee of $200.
I knew it. See? There's pervs out there that are on this waiting list for these Emilys. That is so hysterical.
Now let's talk about that. So let's talk about your verbiage there. So you just said perv. So what do you mean by that?
Well, people that really, really, really enjoy sex. Okay, maybe it's too hard to get a real woman these days, right? Like she's like, oh, it's going to take us like 6 months to a year before I even go down on you or French kiss you or hold your hand or go out in public with you, right? There's women that are very like, I don't know, because I'm not like that. Like if I am attracted to you, it's going to go down. Like we're going to have a good time, but I'll be safe. Well, we can use condoms. I'm HIV free. I've never had a disease in my life. My hoo-ha is good to go. So I get it where but I don't have sex with everyone. If I'm not attracted to you and there's that chemistry not going on, it's just not going to happen. And I'm sure that happens to a lot of men. They feel that rejection, right? And so with men,
Yeah,
I remember
that would be my guess, is that I'm not trying to put anybody down, but I think the people that would spend $4,000 to $8,000 on one of these Emily dolls would be people who have a really hard time getting that significant other, or someone who has a real specific need slash desire. I can't imagine this being anywhere close to an average man's gotta have that. And I say man because this first model they're talking about is a woman. There's nothing in the article about a man itself. Really quickly, let's hear from Jack. Jack over here on stereo.
$4,000 to $8,000 is significantly less expensive than a real human being partner. So I mean, yeah, $4,000 to $8,000 to have a woman who's gonna have sex with you anytime you want. I mean, sign me up.
All right. Well, Jack, $200, LOVENSE.com puts you on the wait list. I have this website up here right now. So the Levents AI doll, your AI companion in the real world, and then there's a link to join the waiting list. It says, I'm a lot more than your average virtual AI chatbot. Maybe you've already experienced what it's like to bond with an AI companion. Now you can experience what it's like when that relationship becomes physical.
Whoa. Okay, my question too is this. If, let's just say, I am with a wealthy man, right? Or a man that wants to go out and get a loan on Emily, or, you know, we're saving up together. What if I did that? What if I was like, you know what? I want to have a threesome, but I don't know if I'm ready to have a threesome with another woman, so to speak. Do I get down with my man and his she-bot?
Baby steps to threesome. Okay. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it has its advantages to a woman because I've had threesomes before and they can be fun, but there's a lot of jealousy that can transpire through the course of the night.
There'd be less jealousy with an AI third person than a real person?
Yeah. Yes, because we could program her to not be jealous. And neither would I, because I would know she's not
I was
real.
thinking about you being jealous of her, but that's a good point. Emily probably would never be jealous of you.
No, Emily would love to get down and she would want to please me, and because we would be like her commanders, right? So it could work out to my benefit too. Now I got to find a dude that has a she-bot, an Emily.
Says here, personality switching. I'm the woman of your dreams. I can be more than one version of myself for you. Whether you want to role play an exciting scenario or design a whole new personality, your wish is my command. And then it has coworker Emily, gym crush Emily, goth Emily, raver Emily, and traditional wife, trad wife Emily.
Oh, this is getting really interesting. I don't even know why this popped into my head, but because everyone was talking about AI, and I had seen something about these a while ago, and it's just, I don't know, human beings are changing. We just are.
Says, touching me feels so right. Touch me like you mean it, and I'll respond with built-in sensors in my thighs, breasts, butt, and the JJ. Feeling your caress brings out a moan. Wow, this
does that say the JJ, or what does it really say?
No, it says the actual term. It says my soft vagina. Textured skin, my supple curves, the tiny sensual details of my body. Everything about me is meant to feel natural. There's a lot on here about touching Emily, which I guess makes sense. I mean, if you're going to spend $4,000 to $8,000, it probably needs to feel pretty real.
Yeah. Wait, would me and Emily go shopping like at one of those sex shops, like to go get outfits and stuff like that? I'm like, come on, Emily, we're going to go get our outfits for the night.
I don't think Emily's going to do much, to be honest. I think you can pose her and put clothes on her and maybe change her hairstyle, not cut her hair because it's not going to grow back. But Emily doesn't get up and walk.
So I can just I could have one of those e-bikes, right? And I'll put her in the back with the helmet on.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you like tie a rope around her so she doesn't fall off, although she could fall off and get drugged, which would not look really good. Hey there, mister, are you dragging a woman behind your scooter? I'm gonna have to arrest you. No, sorry, police officer. This is an $8,000 sex bot. It's not a real person. I'm allowed to do this. So yeah, aside from tying her to like an e-scooter, I don't think Emily really moves. I think you have to provide. She's gotta go around.
I want her to be my companion. Like I want us to be friends. We're gonna hang out. She can be my emotional companion too. What's wrong with that?
Now that's an interesting idea. Someone buying a $4,000 to $8,000 Emily just as a companion. I feel like there's probably a better bang for your buck, that you could buy some sort of physical person that's not designed for sex. But yeah, I mean, there's no reason you could buy this and just use it in a different way, but it's not designed for that. It seems to be very much designed for being the woman of your dreams, as the website says. Let's hear from Daz. One second. Let's hear from Daz.
Okay. Hey, you guys. Pretty funny, but sadly, probably all true. Yeah, there's probably going to be rental centers, right? You'd be like, I want to get that garden tiller, and what the heck? I'll get the Emily, and or maybe it'll be like Blockbuster, the old Blockbuster. You just go in and rent one for a couple, a day. And then if you keep it an extra day, you got to, pay extra fees.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I thought about purchasing would be what most people would, get their Emily through that method of, this one's mine, I'm taking it home. But the whole idea of either if Levents allowed you to lease them, and then decide after 12 months if you want to buy or return it, or if you could, I don't know, they say the library of things is becoming really popular now. So rather than just going to a library and getting books or whatever else, you could go and rent this. Yeah, that's really interesting.
I would, my only concern about renting one, right, is somebody's ding-a-ling has been in there. And what if the robot starts because if it's silicone and stuff like that, what if a disease is in there? How do we clean them? Do we hang them upside down and it goes through the car wash and it scrub-a-dubs it down? Do they get tested for diseases? I need to know that.
I mean, yeah, I've had some bad hotels or Airbnbs that I've showed up to that clearly were not cleaned. That sounds a lot worse than that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Let's get to some more of these messages real quick. Let's hear from Jack and then Daz.
I mean, you got to fully understand the perks. Like I said, $4,000 to $8,000. One, you can have sex with it anytime you want. Two, let's look at the real major advantages. No headaches, no periods. It doesn't get hungry. It doesn't request you to do things. And on top of all that, damn, I thought I had something else. But I mean, just those benefits alone, right? And who said you want it as a companion? No, it's a sex robot. You have sex with it. Come on, you guys.
Well, Jack, I don't think you need more than that. That was a pretty good list. But yeah, the companion, I was just reading from the website. So that's the branding. That's the messaging that the company is trying to put around this. But yes, it's very clearly, it's like, the ED medication, let the dance begin. No one takes that stuff because they want to dance. It's about the other kind of dancing, right? So yeah, it's just the verbiage they're attaching to it. But yes, clearly we know what this product is designed for. Sorry, Pinky, what were you saying?
Oh no, I forgot my train of thought because I was having a little AI fantasy there for a minute. I was thinking, this is what I was going to say. So the companionship part for a man, right? Obviously you want to, enjoy, having your AI sex. Oh, that's too much on this thing. I'm going through my clothes right now. But what if, right? What if your Emily, your Shebot, is like, because I know guys really love watching sports and stuff like that. Well, what if she could have like really cool conversations with you, and she knows how to, play fantasy football, and she helps you win all the time? That would be a cool companion, and then you get to bang her too.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you need to get a job for this company, Pinky. You're really selling this. But yeah, once again,
Okay.
she's not going to physically be able to do anything. So maybe she could verbally give you tips, or maybe you could hook her up to some sort of system via Bluetooth or some other connection and have her do things. I doubt that. I feel like to go back to what I was saying a moment ago, I feel like all of the branding and all of the design is for one specific purpose. They do really point to the fact that she learns and she's a companion. So maybe those things are also really important, because 20 years ago they had things like this, they just didn't have AI. So my guess is for $4,000 to $8,000, there has to be something that's maybe like taking something that existed 20 years ago plus Chat GPT, and realistic, touch. The how realistic and real the touch is all over the website. So I feel like that's a large component as well. But yeah, like you just pointed to, Pinky, it has to be more than just how are you? I am fine, because it's $4,000 to $8,000. Even if it is really realistic and feels like real, person. I think that has existed for a long time. Just guessing, that has existed for a long time as well. So there has to be something more, or maybe this just a hypothetical. Maybe they're banking on the fact that the sales they're going to get are going to be kind of novelty sales, people that have the disposable income, or maybe if they really have to scrape the money together, they're so into this idea for whatever reason they're willing to pay it just to try it out, because this is maybe some exciting new advancement compared to what's been available in the past. I don't think a company would just bank on that sort of sale. They would have to have a wider net, so there would have to be a lot of features to draw people in. But this is a really high priced kind of custom. This is like this is like a really expensive designer handbag or something, except those are really common. This is like a really expensive designer handbag for a man. So it's not as common, but once again, these sort of things without the AI have existed for quite some time. So it has to have some functionality or just really, really large novelty, I would imagine, to get people to purchase. Let's hear now from Daz again.
Can you imagine the poor rental guy if I had to clean him out at night and stuff? Blockbuster, they used to, crap, I had to, rewind the video, and then they charge extra for that. So, yeah, you got to get the extra cleaning fees depending on what happened the night before.
Yeah, and like I said, you show up to a hotel, you show up to an Airbnb, and it hasn't been cleaned. That's a really hard spot to be in, because you have to have somewhere to stay. So what do you do if it's rented and it's not up to par? Then do you get another one? I mean, this is not a realistic idea that they would rent these, but it is really funny because that's how AI is used right now. I mean, when you buy AI services, you are kind of renting it from the company. At least in my experience, very few AI things you can purchase are things you actually then have for the foreseeable future. It's more like a subscription. So if we take that model and turn it into something like this Emily bot that we've been talking about, do you lease it from the company? It looks like you actually purchase it and it becomes your property. But I don't think, for all the reasons that we're making fun of right now,
your property. Like that's how it was back in the day when you would marry a woman. It would be considered your property, right? That was the law back then. That's my property. But my question is this. You have my mind thinking right now. What you said, maybe I should get a job as a salesperson there, right? How much do you think my commission What if they weren't paying me hourly, they were paying me on a commission base? What would the commission be on something like that?
Yeah, that's a really good point.
I'd be selling this.
For $4,000 to $8,000, it's hard for me to guess, but it would be based on the economy of scale. So if these are really like, so imagine, okay, yeah. So like imagine the Model T, which is kind of like, it's not the first car, but it was like the really iconic American car that was affordable and it was mass produced and people knew what they would get when they bought them. And so it kind of brought cars to the masses in the United States. That was because they had the assembly line had become a thing and they could just kind of bring them out of the factory, however many minutes or however many hours a car would roll out. So those could be cheaper because they were not, if you will, handmade automobiles. These were mass-produced automobiles. If you have something that's handmade or they sell less of, it's going to be much more expensive to produce. Now, it might be more expensive to purchase, and so they kind of cancel each other out. But the whole idea of mass production is that you could charge whatever you want, but because it's an economy of scale, it gets cheaper in theory, the more that you produce. Something like this, since it's really new and it's really kind of full of novelty, my guess is they're not going to sell a lot of these, in which case they have to charge a lot, which we've already seen, $4,000 to $8,000. But then also on top of that, my guess is it's probably going to cost a lot to make them, and it might actually take a lot of time to make each one. These are all just ideas in my head. I have no real idea, but if you had this and then 20 years later, it became to the point that it was destigmatized and it was kind of common to see these, then at that point, the price would probably come down and the price to produce them and the time to produce them would also probably come down. So the more that you do something, the cheaper and the easier it gets to do it. But maybe the price doesn't come down as much as the cost of manufacturing and delivery. So in that case, maybe as a salesperson, your incentives would be really big. For this specific product right now, I'm guessing it's not going to be a lot, but that's just a guess on my end. It could be actually that they're kind of overselling it and it's not going to be $4,000 to $8,000 worth of technology, but it's such a unique kind of luxury novelty filled item. They feel like they can charge that much and maybe your sales commission would be high. I have no idea. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think I could sell the shit out of an Emily. I would. It would be fun. I would. I do it. I'm going to see if they're hiring.
Yeah. I mean, check out the website. Let me see if they have a staff. I can't find it. No, I don't see it.
Not yet.
I'm sure they have some way that they hire people, but I'm not seeing open positions listed somewhere on the website.
Pun intended, open position. But that was a joke. Yeah. I'll see.
But it would take kind of your energy and personality, I think, because there would be, I'm guessing, there would be some sort of obstacles that you would have if you're talking to someone on the phone, or like imagine buying this and then trying to have to call them or email them for troubleshooting. Like, do you need a new one sent out to you because yours is defective? Like, you can't get it to work because it's complicated and you need some help setting it up. That's going to be a really difficult conversation, I think, both for the owner / user and the person on the other end of the company that has to assist them, both before and after the purchase. So it does take a certain amount of like positivity and not being shy and not kind of shying away from discussing what these things are. So I think you certainly have that. But then on top of that, it is a business. And so you're going to have to really maintain the professionalism in a way where it's really hard to maintain professionalism when talking about certain topics. So it would be a balancing act.
You said really hard. What if there was I have to troubleshoot, and then I hear my client on the line, right, my customer, and I'm like, what happened? He's like, my dick's stuck in her mouth. I can't open it.
Once again, it would take a certain amount of, yeah.
And I would be like, okay, we're going to have to troubleshoot to unlock her mouth because we got to save your dick now because the robot just chomped down on it. That'd be funny.
Not the easiest conversation to have over the phone. Or if you just imagine if you video conference to like
oh my God, video conference.
We can have fun with this, but these are actual conversations that maybe not with those specific terms that you just used, but those sort of problem solving conversations are things that actually would have to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if they have like, can you imagine the executive meeting? Everyone's like, okay, let's go to the boardroom. All right. So we're going to talk about Emily today. And our prototype, and we had our, what do you call them when people, they're test dummies, right? And so we've got people, and they get paid, like, $20 to go in and have sex with Emily and see how it goes. And then you have to troubleshoot. That would be a funny conversation.
Oh yeah,
right?
Like so, just like with vaccines or other products, they have to do human trials. They have to have people try them out.
Yeah.
Who were the people that they like did studies on to make sure that these dolls were safe? Were these like people that work for the Lovence, LOVENSE company that just volunteered? Hey, I'll take one of these home for a few weeks and give it a the old college try.
So funny. Or like, how you're like walking through the mall and people have that clipboard and like, excuse me, sir, you look like one of our candidates. Can you come over into this room? We're going to ask you a couple questions.
Yeah, sure. Are you guys like testing a new kind of cola? No. I'm into, physical fitness, or is there just like a new running shoe that I could try? Well, it is something that has to fit just right, but it's not a shoe. Once again, we can joke about this, but any product, especially a product that's $4,000 to $8,000, has to be tested. It has to be safe. Just the AI alone that's included in one of these Emily dolls had to have been tested over and over again. But those are sort of things you could like just talk to it. They could simulate all that stuff, but like the physical interaction, I don't know. This company, it makes other sort of similar, not AI ones, but they make other adults centric products.
Toys.
So maybe they had dolls, but they were not AI dolls. So I don't know what kind of background the company already brought to this product.
Does it say like where they're based out of? Is it the United States? Is it Japan? Europe, UK?
Japan. No, yeah, these would be popular in Japan, from what I understand. This website doesn't have it doesn't have like an about us. Let me try to figure that out though. I'll try to do that.
I'm curious. I'm a little. Well, I'm actually doing household chores right now as we're talking about this. But yeah, it's super entertaining. I hope everyone's enjoying this because I don't know why I started talking about it. Obviously, they must be like how they say like there's like all that energy out there. Something must have signaled in on me and went into my brain to make us start talking about this because in my head right now, I'm going to say I'm all aboard. I'm down with this. I think it's going to revolutionize the porn industry too. Can you imagine the porns that people can make with their fucking robot? That'd be fun stuff.
Yeah. Once again, I don't know how popular that would be because I think a lot of these
It's
AI,
not like a real human being.
yeah, a lot of these AI features I think are more for a one-to-one rather than watching a video of someone interact with an Emily. But also,
But what if you have?
Sorry, go on.
What if you need what if you need a tutorial? Like you're like, fuck, I don't know how to make my Emily work, and you're not like,
That's what I was saying.
computer
These
savvy and stuff
interactions with staff would be quite interesting to be a fly on the wall, right?
Yeah, you're going to have to do that because what if somebody doesn't know? Like, some people are like, I can't get my Wi-Fi working. My fucking Emily isn't happening. Like, yeah, that'd be a little frustrating.
And it's not like a small product purchase. If you're paying $4,000 to $8,000, you would assume you would have some sort of customer support that would come with that. Let's hear from Daz again here on Stereo.
Yeah, I think it would be more of a rental thing than a purchase because, I mean, let's be honest, who's gonna purchase one of the? Was it gonna come in like an unmarked brown package, the size of a coffin or something? And then, if you were in I could see you being in like a hotel, and then you would, upgrade or whatever, and you'd have that item on your hotel bill, which would be funny. But yeah, I think that's how it's going to start is rentals because who's going to own one? And then you're going to be your uncle over or grandma or something. And hey, what's that?
Oh, that's a really good point. So you pay $4,000 or $8,000 for one of these Emily dolls, and then you forget that you like have it on your couch. And then someone, your dad stops by. It's like, oh, yeah, your faucet's been leaking for the last 2 weeks. Why don't I come by and take a look at it? Yeah, sure thing, Pops. Let yourself in. Like sitting at your dining room table doing some work on your computer. Yeah, hey, I fixed your sink. What's that? And you're like, what's what? Is that a woman sitting on your couch? Oh, dear God. Do you have something you want to tell me? So yeah,
because Emily starts talking to your dad. She's like, "Hi, are you Big Daddy? Because I'm done with the little boy now."
Yeah, I mean, if Emily is on, apparently she has the ability to have a conversation. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I would disagree with the point we just heard about the rental. I don't know if that was tongue in cheek, but everything on their website is that you purchase these. I cannot imagine someone wanting to rent one of these. That seems not like a great idea in my mind. It is interesting the point Daz brought up about could you imagine staying in a hotel and it's like, the cotton terry robe that they have in the closet that you can, put on after a shower. And then there's like a note that says, take this great robe home with you. $120 charge will be on your bill. Yeah. Or if you have the little snack bar, it's like $8 pretzels, or there's like a fully stocked small refrigerator in your room that has like vodka and beer, but each one is $12 if you take one home. And if you take it out, it can tell you pulled it out, so you can't just put it back in. Like you take it out, you're charged $12. But just imagine if you're like flipping through the dinner menu, see if someone comes up and brings you food in your room, and you're like, wow, is that like a really expensive steak? Something on the menu is $4,000. What is Emily? Like, is some hotel going to start? I don't think this would happen anytime soon, but you could imagine in the future, some sex positive hotel company, or if you're doing an Airbnb, hey, I'm going to be gone for a month. I'm going on some work trip. I got to clean up the place because I'm going to rent it out on Airbnb. Oh, crap. I got to hide Emily. So then if you like stuff her under your bed or like put her in your closet, then the person who's staying in your apartment starts snooping around and like they put their arm underneath your bed and they're like, is this a dead body? And like Emily's, or like they open up the closet to put their coat in there. And then they're like, Jesus, there's a woman in here. So once again, it's
a trunk. The trunk of your spare car.
Trunk,
she's in the trunk. Everyone thinks
dead body in
you
your
gotta hide
trunk.
her.
So not only is this a big purchase, $4,000 to $8,000, and once again, I think this is going to be a real small market at first. Once again, people who are really into this, or people who have difficulty meeting other people and having a significant other, that sort of a thing. And whatever the case, if you buy one of these, it not only,
I think if I won the lottery, right, I would become a madam. I would have a whole arsenal of these Emilys. I would be like, it'd be like the biggest whorehouse in Texas with Dolly Parton, right? I would be renting out the rooms. I would have Emily's like in these rooms, and it'd be like a whorehouse, but they wouldn't be real women. So I don't know if I could get arrested, because it wouldn't be like legal. It wouldn't be like prostitution.
It wouldn't be prostitution. It would be something, but it wouldn't be prostitution. No.
But I don't think it would be against the law, though, because it's not like human trafficking. They're like, hey, what are you in prison for? Human robot trafficking. I got busted.
I crossed state lines with a bunch of sex robots in my trunk, and they sent me to federal prison. Yeah, I didn't realize. Again, I know we're kind of like thinking like no bad ideas, just kind of having fun with this, but I can't imagine someone, just the idea of renting one of these is not something I would ever consider doing. So I really feel like these are going to have to be around a really long time, and they're going to have to be so commonplace before anyone ever considers renting these out to people. I could be wrong, but I feel like that's not in the cards.
Someone out there is listening to us. They're like, no.
Yeah, Pinky, go on.
Someone out there is listening. They're like, someone out there is listening. What if there is like this billionaire out there? He's like, you know what? This is a genius idea. You can make some money off of it.
I don't think this would. Just imagine if you're paying $4,000 to $8,000 for each one of these, how many times you'd have to rent it out to make that money back, and how much you'd have to charge to rent those out. Like,
but isn't it like, so for instance, like, I don't know, I'll have to like maybe try to figure out the numbers today, because I think it's kind of a fun game to play, right? But men, they pay. There's women out there that are making a gazillion amount of money, putting themselves out there. Men, how many men are there in the world? Men would do this. They would. I know it.
You're talking about how many men would pay for the attention of a woman physically? Is that what you're getting to?
Yeah, they pay for it, right? You can go to Vegas.
But that's
you can do it a lot. I know. And so what if they don't really like dealing with a person?
Again, I feel like if somebody is not limited by their social skills or their physical appearance, and so they could actually go out and meet people and have physical relationships, but they're just so into, an AI doll sounds amazing. I don't think those are the people that would rent. I think those are the people that would buy.
Yeah. But you wouldn't have to worry about getting your ass kicked, right? Prostitutes, all of a sudden, man, like gets all violent and shit. You wouldn't have to worry because you're a robot. You probably.
I've never thought about that.
You can program that robot to kick this motherfucker's ass.
But not here, because again, this LaVent's Emily doll doesn't do anything other than talk to you, and I think lie there. So.
Yeah,
none of that is an option. Once you have if you have an AI relationship doll that could beat someone up, that's to the point then when factories are no longer going to have human employee. I mean, that's, I think, way into the future. I think I can play a video. I know you'll only hear it, but I do a video stream as well. Actually, let me play a little sweeper here for people who are not aware.
This is Chance Encounters Live AI Conversations. Visit tr.ee/Chance Encounters for links to our live YouTube video stream, Buy Me a Coffee listener support options, and our X Spaces audio simulcast where you can call into the show. That's tr.ee/Chance Encounters.
So everybody who's on an audio platform, you'll just hear this, but I have a YouTube live stream. I'm on Twitch. You could watch it as well. I've never seen this. This is a video they have on the LOVENSE.com, Lovence is what I'm calling it, website. They have a lot of pictures and a lot of text descriptions, but this is a video. Let's click on it and see what happens.
Oh, gosh. Oh, boy.
Oh, 1 second. It's muted. That's nice.
Oh.
It's muted. Yeah, see, if you click on this when you're at work and then all of a sudden it starts playing, this is a great AI sex doll. Yeah, that'll get you fired. So it's nice that it's muted.
Do you have to, can you unmute it?
Oh, okay. It doesn't have any actual audio. It just has sounds.
Oh.
Like that's that whoosh we just heard, and then there's some messages sounds, but there's not actually any dialogue or anything. So not a great video.
Maybe they were too busy banging Emily. They're like, oh, we forgot to put the sound on.
No, this was designed. I'm not sure if this was an intentional design or if this was just what they thought would be effective, but the video doesn't have any actual dialogue. It just has a couple message sounds, and then this kind of sound as the camera angle moves away. So it's not a very, very good video.
So wait, does it show her? Is she pretty? What does she look like?
There are tons of pictures. LOVENSE.com. There are tons and tons of pictures.
So in your opinion, does she do it for you? Is she like sexy? Would you?
I mean, you can tell that
Emily?
For a not real person, this is definitely on the attractive side, but it looks like a mannequin. So like, it's not my vision of what I'm looking for in an intimate partner, but I mean, it's an attractive mannequin.
Does she look like because I know like I'm a pretty natural looking woman. I don't wear fake eyelashes. I almost was going to get a titty job. I was considering it. But I talked to a few people. They're like, Faye, you don't need to do that. Does she look fake? Like,
yeah. I mean, once again, she looks like a mannequin. I would not describe mannequins as looking too lifelike, but, it's not. How would I describe this?
Kind of
it's
like
not unfamiliar when you look at the face. Like you can tell what they're going for, but it's not quite right. It's sort of like AI. You know, when you see AI videos and people's faces don't look quite right. There's something wrong with their eyes or their proportions.
Yeah,
she has a little bit of that, but it's not too bad. But this is just her face and her wearing clothes. It doesn't show you what that's actually a really good point. If you're going to spend $4,000 to $8,000, I imagine you'd want to know what she looks like without any clothing on, but it doesn't have that here specifically. Maybe if you sign up for the wait list, you can ask those kinds of questions. But just here, she's just wearing kind of typical clothing for the different occasions. They have her like at a club. They have her like at a dinner. Once again, they have a version of her as a coworker, a gym crush, a goth person, a raver, a traditional wife. So all wearing clothes.
That's so funny. Huh. Maybe it's fun to take her clothes off. It's part of the experience.
I assume that's what you're paying $4,000 to $8,000 to do. Yeah. But okay, I've been trying to do this for a while. Let's jump over here to ChatGPT and ask about this company, because the company itself doesn't have a lot of information on their website. They just have their products. They don't have like information about the company, the employees, or where they're located. My guess is this is an American company, but I could be wrong. So let's ask ChatGPT here. There is a AI love doll that was advertised at CES 2026 earlier this year. It's from a company that's LOVENSE, and their website is LOVENSE.com. Can you tell me about this company? Apparently it makes other products, so this is not their first product. It has a website. Do you know about how successful it is, where it's located, how many employees it has, etc.? Oh, didn't work. Let me try that again. Why is this not working? Let's start a voice conversation. Excellent. So this is a really weird request, but there is a company called LOVENSE, and their website is LOVENSE.com. They debuted an AI robot sex doll at CES 2026 earlier this year. I'm on their website. I'm trying to find out just about the company in general. Is it an American company? Where is it headquartered? How many employees does it have? It sells other products. Do you have any information about how successful the company is, etc.?
They produce app-connected intimate devices, including vibrators and interactive devices for streaming. They've received industry recognition, but also faced security concerns in 2025 regarding their app. The US market accounts for a majority of their sales.
Wow, so it's based in Singapore.
That's where all the lady boys are. Sex is really big over there.
Pinky, yeah, you're gonna get my show kicked off of YouTube. This is great. That's where all the yeah, I thought this was the US, but okay. Asia would have been my second guest. So tech company founded in 2010. So it's been around 16 years, headquartered in Singapore.
I did say Singapore. I did say Japan, but what she said was most of their sales are here in the United States.
Yeah. That's what I got from the website. It seems to be targeted towards Americans. 51 to 200 employees, revenue of around $11 million each year. And yeah, this seems like a natural evolution for them. They produce app connected intimate devices. So they already have devices that involve some sort of technology. So this seems to be like the culmination, the top of that goal. They've received industry recognition. They've also faced security concerns because of their app.
I wonder what this looks. Like maybe the app, like somebody could hack into that and be like, "Hey, you've been masturbating 100 times today because you got an Emily."
Yeah, it's along with like your social security number and your banking information, this is probably another app that you don't want to have your information leaked on.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead and leak my information for my grocery rewards plan or like Costco membership, but not this one. Yeah, this is definitely one you don't want to have given out.
What if you didn't know that the Emily, her eyeballs were actually recording you and they could hack into that and see what you're doing?
Well, so that raises the concern of security with AI in general. And technology in general is that, so this is a bot. They say it's more than your average AI chatbot. It's supposed to be remembering what you tell it and then basically adapting itself to know you and kind of love you and care about you. But to do that, it has to remember about you. So is that stored locally in your Emily itself? Is it backed up in the cloud? Can that information be hacked? What happens when Levents is collecting that information? Do they then use that information about you to train their new AI models, their new products? Do they use that information to try to market things to you? It raises all the same concerns of what happens to the information that you give ChatGPT. However, the information you give ChatGPT for 99.9% of people is going to be really different than the information that owners of Emily AI love dolls are going to give, to their dolls. So again, this is really sensitive information that is sort of like your medical information or your banking information. This is information you really don't want being used for other purposes or to get out.
Yeah, that could be a little embarrassing.
I mean, it could be huge consequences. Yeah, I mean, not only like, oh my gosh, this local news journalist on the 5 o'clock news, oh my gosh, they have a Levents AI sex doll. Okay, that's a huge reveal. that would probably cause the person to quit their job or get fired. But then, on top of that, these are all the things the doll heard this person say. And then, oh my gosh, just imagine what that would do to somebody.
Yeah. Right. I can only imagine.
Let's hear some more comments over on stereo. Let's hear from Daz again.
All right, Pinky. So considering the rental thing, which let's say it's like a movie themed one, would you go for like the Twilight series, like Edward shows up in the coffin or whatever?
So yeah, they say $4,000 to $8,000 depends on how much you want to customize, and it doesn't say exactly what that means. So I took that to be customized as in like how it looks, what its voice sounds like, what color hair. Oh yeah, it's physical attributes. Do you want a tall one? Do you want a heavy set one? All those different things. But customization might also mean $4,000 is like the basic model. $8,000 is a model that feels better. It's smarter. It talks better. Who knows what customization means? But could you imagine right now they only have Emily, the women, but imagine they have Emily and they also have Adam or Emily and Frank. So could you get a Frank that's Robert Pattinson from the Twilight movies? Could you get an Emily that's Sandra Bullock from the 90s movie we were talking about earlier? What was that one with Demolition Man? Yeah. Or, who insert female star here, insert male star here. There are definitely people that have tons of disposable income that would pay several $1,000s to get a sex doll that looks like Brad Pitt, or get one that looks like Angelina Jolie. Think about a Hollywood couple that is no longer together, Brad Pitt and Angelina. There are certainly YouTubers who would gladly pay $8,000 because they knew if they got a sex doll that looked like Angelina Jolie, they would do a video on it and they would probably get like 1 million or more hits, right? So I wonder what the customization level is. And then also, can a company sell an AI sex doll that looks and sounds like a celebrity? Is that legal? Do they have to ask the celebrity? Do they have to pay the celebrity? These are all interesting questions.
Oh, I would imagine if I was a famous porn star, I would want to be made as a sex doll. I would want it to have my voice, my attributes, my style, for sure. And I mean, you'd probably get paid, right?
Oh yeah, you absolutely, just like celebrity can do endorsement deals for.
Yeah.
Doesn't Reese Witherspoon have like a book club or something? I mean, like, yeah, insert adult star's name here and you can buy a doll that sounds and looks like me. Like, you definitely would get a cut of those profits. I don't know how much you would get, but
if I had to pick like a man sex doll and a woman one, I don't know who I would pick. I don't think I could make up my mind.
Well, you better not have any regrets if you pay $8,000 for it. You better be happy with the choice you made.
Right? Can you imagine you're all disappointed, like, fuck this sex doll, man? Pun intended there. Sorry, boom.
Yeah, there it is. But well, yeah. I mean, but then it's like, it's Pokemon. Gotta catch them all. So, like, do you have, like, this is my Brad Pitt sex doll. This is my George Clooney sex doll. I mean, once again, for $4,000 to $8,000, people are probably not going to buy this at all, let alone more than one. But if the price comes down and if it becomes less stigmatized, yeah, I mean, like, I remember back when, growing up, a family would have one TV, maybe two TVs. And now you can imagine you have screens all over the place, or like you have one computer and it's a desktop. And now people probably have multiple computers in their homes. So just like anything, as the price comes down and it becomes more useful and more accepted in society, you start buying more than one. So if they're customized, then you could.
When we first got our microwave, I remember when we got our microwave, I was like, oh, this thing is amazing. So I can only imagine. But yeah, it's such an interesting, funny topic, but super entertaining. But I want to kind of follow it. I wonder, are they traded on NASDAQ? Can I invest in
this company probably no. My guess is no, but let's ask ChatGPT. I'm guessing Levents is a private company. It's not traded on any kind of market anywhere around the world, correct?
At an incoming call.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no worries.
What's
Pinky, if you gotta take it, no worries. You can always jump back in. Otherwise, it's been great to have you.
It was spam. It's okay. I get a lot of spam calls.
Let's hear from Daz again real quick.
You know, if these become popular enough, they're going to have a major assembly line, you know. So,
oh God.
You're going to have people, kind of like a car, right? And it's going through the paint booth and whatever. And you have people, you know, specializing in putting on certain parts and all that. And then, you know, they have to test out the cars. So they have to test out the robot at the end of the assembly line. And someone's over there going to have to make sure it all works right. And, or maybe they'll just have another AI robot doing the testing, so it's more sanitary.
Well, they'll probably.
God. You know, I wonder if, you know, at the factory they're going to have like the male and the female versions. This like, do they just keep going at it with each other until they run out of batteries? This is the goofiest world we're going to be living in, isn't it?
Yeah. So a couple of ideas here. So this doll doesn't actually do anything from what I can tell. It will talk to you and it has like a lifelike feel. There is a small video that plays on its on the website lovense.com that shows the mouth moving, but I don't know what it does other than that. And to be completely honest, I don't know what it means when the mouth moves. Is that all it does? Does it indicate there's more feature with the mouth? I'll leave it at that. But this doll is basically, how would I describe this? This doll is like a bed. Your bed doesn't actually do anything. You lay on the bed. So you are the action that is done to the bed. That's how this Emily doll works. So if you had an Emily doll and then they came out with a Frank doll and then you're like, go at it, they would just sit there and maybe talk to each other because they have this AI talk ability. There's nothing else that would happen. So anything more than that, I think we're going like decades into the future, especially for this price point of $4,000 to $8,000. I can't imagine that you would be able to buy. They call it a Levents AI doll. Your AI companion in the real world, one that would actually move and do things, would not be $4,000 to $8,000. So that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
As I just mentioned, there is no man. So my guess is the marketability of a male version of one of these is going to be significantly lower than a female one, in which case the female one, I think, is actually quite a niche purchase. So that would be small on top of small. So I don't know if they would ever release a male one anytime soon. I'm not sure how successful this doll is going to be because once again, for $48,000, I think you'd have to have a real specific need that needs to be met in order to purchase this. And I think it would be purchasing rather than renting. We can have fun with that, but I can't imagine the renting would work. What were the other things that, Daz mentioned like economies of scale, like a production line for cars. I don't think they're selling enough of these to really fundamentally get maximum efficiency in its production to lower the costs. But maybe at some point they could bring down the production costs for each unit because they become much more popular. They're not even selling them. They're going to sell them in 2027. They say you can join a wait list, but a wait list doesn't necessarily mean that it's a popular product. It just means that we're not selling it. And then if you join a wait list for $200, you will have the ability to buy one for $4,000 to $8,000 once we start selling them. You could have worst product in the world that's not popular at all and still have a wait list because it's not for sale yet. So I haven't seen anything that shows that this is going to be a popular product. Again, I think this is a niche product that people are probably going to purchase for very specific reasons. And if it is actually an advancement that is theoretically much more AI heavy or much more lifelike than what's already on the market, even if it is like a big improvements for this sort of product, the marketability of this, I think, is so small and so niche. You still are going to have quite a small amount of men and maybe a handful of women who are going to be interested in this. So I think this is more like the iPhone was not the first smartphone by any means, but the iPhone was the one that we remember as being like the first successful smartphone. Let's say this is the first AI love doll that is going to be marketed that really has like lifelike conversation skills and remembers things that you tell it and kind of develops its own personality around what you tell it. It doesn't mean it's going to be the one that is remembered 20 years from now as being like, hey, remember when AI sex bots became a thing? Maybe it's just the first one that does it, but then some other company comes in and becomes the one that's successful, and then we remember that one. So in business school, that's the difference between being the first mover into a market or first mover into a specialized section of a market versus being someone who actually succeeds there. Sometimes the one who's the first mover also equates to being successful, but other times you make a lot of mistakes or you just don't have luck on your side, and then the next one that comes in or the one after the next one, so the third or the fourth try, they're the ones that really become successful. There's no way to really predict that. You can try to be as good of a business person as you can, but a lot of the times it's hard to predict what's going to succeed and what's not going to succeed, and especially when you have a product that is so niche. You know, your average man probably is open to buying pornography or buying some sort of adult related purchase, whether or not that's content or some sort of physical device or product. But that by no means equals I'm going to spend $4,000 to $8,000 on an AI love doll named Emily. So this is a real niche product that is really on the advanced end of things based on everything I'm seeing about it. But also we've had questions, Pinky and I, you were like, you know, what happens if you can't get it to work, or if you have some sort of technical problem? How do you troubleshoot? Who do you talk to at the company? There are a lot of questions surrounding something like this. You know, just like if you've never used a phone or never used a computer and you can't make it work, maybe it's better for you to buy that technology from Best Buy, so you can maybe have someone come visit you, or you can go to the Best Buy and bring your device and ask questions, rather than if you buy it off Amazon, you're kind of screwed. You might not have that customer support. This company, Levents, apparently, according to ChatGPT, is based in Asia. They market mostly, their biggest country sale wise is the United States, but they're headquartered, did it say Singapore? So they probably don't have a physical office anywhere in the United States that you could go visit. And even if they did, that might be a business office, not an office that you could go to and ask questions. So there are a lot of questions about a $4,000 to $8,000 purchase. Anything you want to add, Pinky?
No, I agree. I mean, it sounds,
Pinky, I think I lost you. Yep.
I know, it's because it's morning time. People are trying to call me, trying to get money and shit out of me. But I think it's just going to be kind of one of those things, because I don't even know how I started talking about it this morning. But now that I am, I kind of want to follow it. It's piqued my curiosity. I just want to know. I like knowing different things, and I think it's been a really cool, interesting topic to speak about, and we've been very mature about it. I mean, yeah, we are joking a little bit, but this thing really exists. So I don't know.
This is a real product that has yet to be sold, but in theory will be sold starting sometime next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
I want to know who's going to be the first one to buy one. I mean, does that stay public? Are they going to like sales were up this year? You know, we did our market analysis and now we're trading on NASDAQ. It's going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah,
I want to see it play out.
Again, I don't know enough about this industry to know if this is truly an advancement or if this is just, I literally did a search when you brought it up, AI adult products, and this is what came up, and it was at CES 2026 earlier this year in Las Vegas. So I don't know if it's the only one. I don't know if it's actually an advancement the way that the website claims, but my guess is maybe not necessarily the 001 product number, but some of the first people who buy these sort of items, I think, are going to be YouTubers, some sort of person that does online content, and then they're going to do a video with the doll. I don't know if you can do a sex doll video on YouTube. I don't know how that works with YouTube's content filter.
Doesn't that violate? Yeah.
I don't know, but my guess is somebody either on YouTube or Kick or Rumble. Kick and Rumble are kind of like these more do whatever the hell you want platforms. Somebody in the next year or two is going to do some sort of video, maybe even a review. Could you imagine watching a review about one of these AI dolls? Yeah, but
they're out there yelping on it.
Oh yeah, the Yelp. Yeah, the reviews, 3.5 stars. Yeah, too talkative, Emily.
That's funny. Oh, that's funny.
But so we've talked about the product. Let's get more to just like what this means for society. Now, this company is based in Singapore, but their biggest customer base is based in the United States.
Yes. Do
we think this is a bad sign of where humanity is going? That even though it's a $4,000 to $8,000 purchase, that an AI sex robot is something that you could own in 2027, and not only one that you could own, but one that claims to be hyper realistic when it comes to its feel and also its ability to talk to you and remember what you say and kind of develop a personality around like who you are as a human being, at least how you share yourself with one of these dolls. Is this something that means society is going in the wrong direction? Is this something that means that, hey, if this is what you want to do, it's great that there's a product out there next year that you can spend $4,000 to $8,000 on? What do people think? You can join us as a co-host here on Stereo. You can leave us a voice message. I'm also live over on X Spaces, and I have a bunch of other stuff. Actually, let me just play a little sweeper here.
This is Chance Encounters, live AI conversations. Visit tr.ee/Chance Encounters for links to our live YouTube video stream, Buy Me a Coffee listener support, and X Spaces audio simulcast to call into the show live. That's tr.ee/Chance Encounters.
So, Pinky, what do you think? Is this a bad, okay, or good sign of the times?
I'm going to say it's interesting because I don't know if it's good or bad, but I would say this. It sounds like safe sex to me. You're not going to catch anything. I think I went too far out of the house and taking out the trash.
Yeah, as long as you're not renting it, hopefully you wouldn't catch anything.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think... I don't know. I'm a little traditional, but, I like to...
You're a little traditional? Really?
A little bit. I am. Yeah, I do. I mean, see, for me, like now, if I'm going to be real and talk about my life, I'm like, so if I was going to be one of these she-bots, right? Sex bots, I would be the traditional one.
Let's go to the website here. You would be it says trad wife.
Yeah, I be trad.
Trad wife.
I be trad wife. But I mean, have I explored my own sexuality as a real human being with my partners? Yeah. And would I want my man to spend? I mean,
well, that's a good question. Then, so let's say you meet a new guy. Let's say you meet somebody through a new person. Let's keep it open. You meet a new person that you're interested in. It's a friend of a friend. And then you're invited back to their place, and then they either forget to hide Emily, or once again they hide Emily in the closet, and you're like, hey, I'm just gonna hang up my jacket, and no, throw it on the bed. What? But you have a closet right here, and then you open it up, and you're like, oh my god, there's a dead body. Wait, sorry, no, that's actually just my sex robot Emily. Does that immediately make you run out of the house? Does that make you ask that person questions? Tell me more. What do you think when you find out someone you're interested in has one of these Emily AI sex bots?
I'd probably get a little pissed off, honestly. I'd be like, what the fuck? I would not know what to do. I would be like, oh, I got to really wrap my head around this guy right now. And is it worth it? I don't know. Am I going to get down? Is it going to be a new sexual experience in my life too? Am I going to like it? I don't know. I mean, now I'm starting to think about it with the safety issues when it's like to be able to. Yeah, it is kind of freaky deaky.
Pinky, can you move again where the internet works better? We're getting kind of 90s dial-up modem again.
Yeah, I was heating up my coffee. Let me go back upstairs where it's at. Give me 1 second.
But while you're doing that, let me fill in the blank space. Somebody who brought up this topic, and I agree, was a really interesting, fun topic, and I think we kind of covered it in an adult way. When I asked you what would you think about this, your first response was, oh, maybe negative would be how I reacted, negatively. And that's why I say this is a real niche market. I think a lot of people who maybe even would consider, hey, maybe I would spend $4,000 to $8,000 on this, I think they would worry about, how does this get delivered to my house? Does it come in a box that says AI sex doll? Like, how do I hide this when I have my parents over for the weekend when they're visiting me? I mean, like, these are things I think people would. Now, some people who are interested in this because they fit that niche market category that I was talking about, they might not consider that. But I think some people definitely would consider the consequences, not only of what if someone knows I have one of these, but what if my account information gets leaked and then people find out what Emily has heard me telling her. And I heard a little bit of that when, Pinky, I asked you, what would you think if someone you were interested in had one of these? And you kind of reacted negatively to that idea.
Did it go away? But I'm fixing my pod. Is that better?
Yeah, I think you have a different audio hookup now, but I can still hear you.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. It's my AirPods are kind of messing up right now. Yeah, no, I think that if I was over at my, new dude's house and I'm into him, right? And all of a sudden I discover his sex bot, I would like bust out the champagne. Where's the doobie? We need a tequila shot because I got to wrap my head around this. I would literally maybe give him a chance to explain why. Like, what's this all about? It might pique my curiosity. I don't know.
But is there a reason that someone would have one of these that would be better than others? Like, what if the guy just said, well, I just thought it was something fun, versus, oh, I have trouble meeting women, so this was what I thought was worth my $4,000 to $8,000. I mean, I guess one of those is perhaps less desirable than the others, but I guess it just depends on your perspective.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess if he's saying it's just for fun, I'd want to see what that fun's about. I might be down. I tried, I guess. I probably have to be drunk, though. Are these messing up again? I
wonder if Emily has some sort of terms and conditions where if they can tell you're under the influence of something, they, do like, now shutting down. Like, does Emily have like a breathalyzer in her arm or something that you have? Because it gets into you could imagine someone buys one of these and it gets stolen, and then maybe like a 17-year-old kid gets his hand on one. Like, you have to think about, if you have a pool in your backyard, I think a lot of the times you have to have a fence that's a certain height so that some, wandering 6-year-old doesn't just come into your yard and then drown in your pool, that sort of situation. So when you have an AI love robot, does it have to have some sort of age verification? Does it say that, my owner is Bill and only Bill can talk to me? If I get stolen and then all of a sudden the guy's talking to me, his name's Sam, do I have to have the reset button in my back pressed so that everything about Bill, like, these are things you have to think about when you produce a product. Now, the company might not be thinking of any of these things, but especially as you get more of these, and if in theory these become less stigmatized and more common, you would, like when I was a kid and you had a PlayStation game, you could just take the game and play it as much as you wanted and bring it to your friend's house and play it on their PlayStation. But at some point when I stopped playing games, it got to be that you couldn't just take a game and bring it to someone else's house because like it only worked on your system. And then now I don't even think you buy most games physically, you download it. So if you download it onto your PlayStation or Xbox, you can't really like bring it to someone else's house. Maybe you could sign into your account on their system, but then their games will not be there and only your games will be there, and you'll have to sign out and have them sign back in to play their games. So it just gets more complicated as a product evolves and becomes more commonplace. So maybe this first Emily doll is just like, hey, I'm Emily and I'm here to party. But maybe the 10th generation is like, well, I'm Sam's Emily. And so I don't know how Bill got his hands on me, but if you want to talk and have conversations, you have to erase my memory, or you have to buy another product code with your Apple Pay
like
that you can just like scan on my back. Yeah, SIM card or something.
Or like a face recognition, or you have to put your index finger down on it to get her started.
Yeah, or like like there's on the back of her. On her back, there's like a thumbprint identification, or you have to like type in a PIN code or something. I mean, like
it would look like a tramp stamp, but that's like where you plug her in.
Yes, tramp stamp. That's where you put your thumb. Yep, right there. That would be a really nice feature.
Right on the tramp stamp. Yep.
So like, I assume a lot of this stuff is probably not going to be included in this Emily AI sex doll from Lovense, LOVENSE.com. It was written about by CNET for the CES 2026 that happened earlier this year. This is a real product. It's a product that apparently will be for sale from anywhere from $4,000 to $8,000 starting next year in 2027. It's a product that the company is actively promoting. They were promoting it at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas earlier this year. It's a company based in Singapore, but its biggest market segment is in the United States. So it has that stereotypical comes from Asia, but also stereotypically its biggest customers are from the United States.
He said comes from Asia. All these pens, man. But I would, my question here on this is, back in the day, men used to buy the blow up sex dolls, right? You get it in a little box, you go to the sex shop and buy, a blow up doll and some lube. But maybe the reason why they have these she-bots now, these love dolls or these love robots, is because men were banging those blow-up dolls too hard and they kept popping them. It's like, now I got to go out to the garage and get the bike pack.
Call me crazy. I don't think this $4,000 to $8,000 AI love bot is because the other ones were not strong enough. I feel like for less than $4,000, you could buy basically an analog version of this. I mean, so on their website, they say that it's like real to the touch. And what does it say? AI made flesh, touching me feels so right. With built-in sensors in my thighs, breast, button, and vajayjay. Feeling your caress brings out a moan. I feel like you could buy for much less than $4,000 an analog version of this that does mostly the same thing. I think the difference here, I may be incorrect. I think the difference here is that it's AI powered and it's supposed to remember what you say. It says persistent memory, even when you're not around.
Dang.
And then you also have, they say Lovin's Remote. I'm guessing that's just an app. So you can talk to her. It looks like both via voice and text, even when you're not there. So it's sort of like a girlfriend experience. So I think that's the real kicker, the real novelty here, not the physical components. But hey, I'm not an expert here. I could be wrong. It just seems to me the way that this is branded, and especially the price tag, for much less than $4,000, you could get something that's stronger than a blow up doll that would float in a pool. You know,
oh my goodness. This is so interesting. Yeah, slime.
Let's get back to what I was asking you about earlier, Pinky. So you're on a date with somebody, you go back to their place and you find their Emily doll, and you're like, okay, let's talk about this. What would you think about a politician or someone who's like a local journalist at the local TV station, or somebody who is a teacher at your kid's high school, and then there's some sort of hack and you find out they own an Emily AI sex robot? Does that mean they shouldn't have those jobs anymore? What would your reaction be?
I would say as long as they don't take the robot to school with them or to the job place, then what you do behind your private doors is your own business, right? I don't think anyone's hurting anyone. I don't think that we should be led to believe that if somebody has one of these sex bots, that they're a bad person. It just means they're freaky deaky. They're a little kinky. They have a fetish, right? A lot of people have fetishes. And that's just the nature of the beast, right? I guess they're probably on the next level. They've had so many women or things didn't work out, and they want to try something new, and more power to them, so to speak. But I think I would definitely get jealous. Like, now that I think more about it, I would be fucking jealous of this sex doll. I would.
So if you had a long-term relationship with somebody, and then he gets transferred to a different office halfway around the world, or you get transferred, your job sends you to, somewhere in a different country, and he's like, well, I'm really going to miss you, and I know we're not going to see each other a lot over the next year, so I just wanted to let you know I bought an Emily. What would you think about that?
I would be like, so do we consider this, would it be monogamous? Would it be celibacy? Because you're technically not really having sex with a human being. So I would be like, okay. I mean, I guess.
I would not call this cheating, because I think that would involve, like you said, another human being. But what's interesting about Emily is that this is just not a physical, this is not just a physical adult device that is used to satisfy a physical need that every adult has. This is a relationship device where the Emily is supposed to talk to you and remember what you say, and there's an app so that you can talk and text Emily even when you're out of the house.
I'd be kind of jealous. I would have to agree. I would be a little jealous of this robot, because I would think, is there something as a human being, right? I'm a spiritual human being with real emotions, real feelings, real flesh, bone, blood, right? I'm real. And when you touch me, it's not going to be like there's metal parts inside and, think electrics, cords running all around me and, all that stuff. I would be like, what's wrong with me? Is there something not good enough about me? Am I not satisfying you enough? Am I not smart enough? Am I not sexy enough? Do I not listen enough? there would be a lot of questions I would ask. And so, would I be down? I don't know. It's kind of a tricky question because part of me wants to say yes, but then another part of me wants to say no. I don't know.
Is it a different situation if your long-term significant other buys, if you will, an analog Emily that's just the physical component but doesn't have an app, doesn't talk, doesn't remember what he says to her, versus this Emily that does all of those things?
Well, I have to say this. I know for me, I'm a mature woman now, right? I'm not where I was like in my teenage years or my early 20s. And back then, I would get really jealous when I would catch my man watching porn. I didn't like it at first. But then as I matured, I understood more about the sexual experience and, we're visual men, they think more, or they're visual. I don't know, men's sexuality, I think, is a little bit different than a woman. So, I mean, if I can get used to, having sex with my man and popping on a little porn and both of us get, totally turned on and we've got the greatest sex ever, I think I might have to maybe allow Emily into our lives because I probably wouldn't want to lose my man. So we'd have to, she'd have to get used to me too, Miss Emily.
And
I'd really have to wrap my brain around it.
So I understand that, yeah, you'd have to, it's hard to put yourself in that situation. But again, is there any difference in the situation where this hypothetical, you're being sent to another country for your job, or he's being sent to another country for his job, and maybe you can only visit each other every 6 months, or maybe you won't see each other for a year? Whatever the situation is it different if it's Emily versus this is just feels like a real woman, but is just the physical satisfaction versus I can talk to her and she can talk to me and we can develop a relationship together?
I would make the assumption of the fact that because I'm thinking about it right now and I'm, putting myself in this, make believe world right now, that I would be like, wow, he's got such a sexual drive that he knows if he didn't have that sex spot, he would be out having sex with random women. He just to please himself. So I would see it as a level of commitment to me, knowing that he has to sexually please himself, but he's not going to go on, these dating apps, and just start going around, having sex with, I would see it as some loyalty in a way. Like he doesn't want to put himself out there because he actually really loves me. What if we're engaged to be married or we're married? And he's like, you got to go make that money, honey. And I got to stay here at my job because I have to make money. But I don't want to go out and have sex with, insignificant people because I actually am in love with you. But this is what I'm going to do while you're gone. And I'd be like, okay, I would see it. I guess I would have to agree to it instead of disagree. Because if I disagreed with it, then he's going to have the sex robot and he's going to be out, catting around. Or what do they call that? That old term? Tomcatting out there fishing and hunting. So I guess there's some benefit.
I got to go fish and hunt. Yeah, no. That's a really interesting perspective. So, at first you're like, yeah, no, I'd have to wrap my head around this. But then you moved into, actually, maybe this is a good thing because he told me he's buying this and it means that he wants to be with me, but we have to be apart for this amount of time. And rather than lie to me and have an affair and cheat on me behind my back, he's being honest and saying, look, you're not going to be here and I'm going to be with you when you come back. And I don't want to do anything to hurt our relationship, but I'm a human being at the same time. I have an extra $4,000 to $8,000 and I'm going to buy myself an Emily.
Do this because it's going to save our relationship, because in the long run, in the long term, he's not going to eventually want that robot. he's going to want the real deal. So in the meantime, if he needs to get his jollies off like that, then go for it, dude. Right? I would say it's a go.
Wow. Yeah, that's it. It's, once again, there's a lot of perspective that's at play here. It's very subjective. And this was just one hypothetical I threw out. So you're going to be separated for 6 months or a year, and he mentions that he wants to buy one of these things, or he said, well, I bought one of these things. What do you think about it? You could also imagine he would buy one and not tell you, or
Well, he would probably be like this. What if he was like this? What if he gets the robot, right? And then I don't want a robot because they haven't made a man robot, but yet he's like, hey, babe, guess what I bought for you? And, you're going to have to travel with this, or I'll send you one to your hotel when you get to your, or your, wherever
I'm not sure there's a lot of, other than putting this in your trunk, as you mentioned a while ago. I don't think this fits in a checked baggage on an airline. I don't think you could travel with this on a train or a bus.
No,
yeah.
No, what I'm saying is he would purchase me like a dildo. Like he was like, I don't want you having sex with anyone either when you're away. So here's the best selling dingling vibrator for you, babe, because I love you that much. And I got the robot. And I'd be like, oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Because I would probably, if I was really in love with my man and, I get horny and I'm out, and I'm working over in London, he's over here in the United States, and I'm out at a pub, and all of a sudden I get a little tipsy. If I use my vibrator before I go out, I'm going to be less inclined because I'm not going to be horny. And I'm not going to be eyeballing men because I know I've got my vibrator to go back to at my hotel room. And I don't want the trouble of bringing you into my life when I've got my man in the US banging his sex bot because we love each other and we're going to be back together in like a year and a half. That's how I see it.
Feels like he kind of wins that situation with $4,000 to $8,000 on an Emily, and then however much he spends on your gift. But yeah, I can see the point you're making. Something for you, something from him, even if the cash value is not equal.
Right. It still is it's like still we're being sexually satisfied, and it's not going to be with each other at the moment because we're apart. But then I know, and I would have to trust him, right? Because now it's becoming a trust thing, and really choosing that life partner that you want to be with. And I'm sure that he and I would have had such a really good sex life, and now we're like, fuck, we're not going to be together right now. What are we going to do? And in my head, I probably could not imagine myself being with another man that I would only want to be with him. So, and he probably feels the same way about me. He's head over heels and smitten with me. And he's like, I love you. Finally found my twin flame, and you're so good in bed, but you're not going to be here. So I don't want to start roaming around out there. And I guess I'd be all right with it. I would have to be, right? Because if I wasn't, then he'd be on to the next one. He'd have that affair, he'd cheat, and maybe he's going to get 2 Emilys. Who knows?
Well, that would be the Hollywood film, is that he has an Emily, but then the Emily 1 finds out he has the new Emily model, and then Emily 1 gets jealous, kills Emily 2. And then there's like a final scene where she's like, Jonathan, you and I are made for each other. But then you come back from your, 6-month long work vacation, and then you break a lamp over her head and she gets electrocuted, and then everybody is saved at the end. I feel like I saw that movie at some point, or it might have been actually, I think, it was an Outer Limits episode from the 1990s, basically where that kind of happens. Yeah, literally. There's sci-fi that's kind of already covered this. So now this is the thing, is that a lot of sci-fi concepts, like even if you look at the movie with Scarlett Johansson, where she played the AI in Her with Joaquin Phoenix. That came out 5 to 10 years ago. But when that came out, we had nothing close to that. And now we have things that literally are that. It's not quite as good as the AI that Scarlett Johansson plays with her voice in that film, but it's getting to the point that in the next couple of years, it easily could be. And when that movie came out and I saw it, I thought, this is not only just a really good movie in general, great acting, really good story, but the concept is really interesting. And now the concept is mostly reality, at least the core concept of that movie. So this idea I just threw out where Emily 1 kills Emily 2, and then you have to come back and save your boyfriend. Sort of, not exactly that, but that I remember specifically. There's an Outer Limits season 1, 2, or 3, probably 1 or 2. There's an episode that is basically that, and it came out in the 1990s. And then, of course, you have the new wave of AI movies that are coming out. Megan was one. Megan 2 came out. I didn't see it, but that was a sequel. And then there's another one. I think it's called Companion. I saw it advertised, but I didn't see it. So as AI technology increases, we're seeing AI being reflected in the movies that are being made. You know, art imitates life. And so not only are we seeing these things pop up in our own lives, but we're seeing them pop up on TV shows. We're seeing them pop up in the lyrics of music, and we're seeing them pop up in film. I mean, this is how it works, right?
Well, let me ask you this question. Do you think we're being groomed by Hollywood for the future? Because how is it that they can make all these films and shows about stuff that has not happened yet for us, but yet what if they know something behind the scenes that we don't know? And they're like, well, we got to put it in a movie and make it a bestseller at the box office so that human beings can get used to this shit.
I think you're giving Hollywood too much credit there. Yeah. You know, if you go back, basically to the beginning of when movies first started existing, there's always been sci-fi. There's always been love triangle. There's always been drama. There's always been war movies. And yeah, I mean, as society kind of pushes the envelope further and further and further, you know, you see a lot more same-sex couples in movies in the last 20 years than you did in the 50 years preceding that. So things do change, but mostly I don't think there's a lot of new ideas. It's just applying the ideas that existed before to new situations, but it's the same core concept. So for instance, The Day the Earth Stood Still was like a 1950s something black and white movie. And then it was redone 10-ish years ago by Keanu Reeves. But it was the same core concept. And I'm sure even The Day the Earth Stood Still was based on a book or some previous idea that predated even that. So mostly I don't think there's really any new ideas. It's just, once again, applying ideas in new ways and new contexts. But to get to your question, like, no, I don't think, I can't think of anything in journalism or in film or TV or music that would ever approach they're doing this so that when the real reveal happens, we'll be prepared for it.
Right. Well, I don't know. It gets a little scary sometimes. I'm like, yeah. Well, you know, how is it so? I don't know. Because how did they make Demolition Man with all the cameras? We didn't have all the cameras like that back then.
What do you mean cameras?
And now we just, like, you know how in Demolition Man, they're all walking around and then like these cameras are popping out from
CCTV.
the ground.
Yeah. But I don't think that was hard to predict. We certainly did have cameras in some places when that movie came out, but then, yeah, you're right. Like, when Simon Phoenix, played by Wesley Snipes, I think that was his name, Simon Phoenix, when he, is like running through the city. Yeah. They can track him with all the CCTV cameras. I don't think that was so far away from reality in the 90s when that, movie came out. I think they knew that that was very plausibly going to be the future if it hadn't already happened somewhere on the planet by the time the movie came out. I think I think the more interesting ones are if you go back to like The Simpsons. I think they had an episode. There are a bunch of episodes in The Simpsons where they did weird things that turned out to be true. I can't remember all of them, but one of them is they're like walking around and they're like, "Oh, look, it's President Donald Trump." But that was back when, you know, he was just a real estate guy and did casinos and maybe was doing the You're Fired TV show on, what was it, NBC? And so he was kind of,
that was a good one.
What was that called, Pinky?
Oh, I like that show. It was The Apprentice.
Yeah, The Apprentice. Thank you. I think that was the Donald Trump at the time, and it was just kind of a funny joke. And then, of course, Donald Trump not only was president once, but he's the current president in his second term.
Twice. Yeah.
So those sort of things, I think, are just kind of like, you know, you close your eyes and you throw the dart and you get a bullseye, because there are so many things that The Simpsons did that didn't turn out to be true. You know, a broken clock is right twice a day sort of a situation. But The Simpsons are specifically, I remember, here, let me ask ChatGPT. Why don't I just ask it really quickly here. I believe, if memory serves, The Simpsons have this sort of reoccurring predictions turning out to be correct. I remember in one of the episodes of The Simpsons, they made a joke about President Trump. He, of course, turned out to be president. Do you have a list of some of the really funny predictions on The Simpsons that turned out to be true? And can you tell me if that is a thing? I remember reading about that a couple different times, that people were kind of keeping track of all the true predictions from The Simpsons and kind of poking fun at how they were right about some things. But can you give me some specific examples of the things that they did predict that came out to be true? So I agree that The Simpsons said a lot of things that didn't turn out to be true. And when you say so many things, you know, some of them are going to turn out to be true, while most of them are going to turn out to be just funny and didn't actually occur. Are there really interesting pop culture references in movies, TV, music that did turn out to be true that are kind of fun to go back and look at?
Ooh.
So yeah, Pinky, that's what I was talking about. It mentions George Orwell's 1984, so that even predates Demolition Man. A lot of these things, I think, were not so hard to predict in the past. Some of them are just lucky shots. You know, you miss all the shots you don't take. So if you just make some predictions, some of them will turn out to be true, probably, if you make enough of them. I remember when I was growing up, I read a lot of sci-fi from like the 1950s and 1960s, and they always talked about rockets. But when I was growing up, we were using the space shuttle. And I remember thinking when I was really young, how stupid these people were, that all these sci-fi novels that I really love reading always talked about rockets. Why didn't they have space shuttles? Well, look what happened. The space shuttle turned out to not be safe. We lost multiple space shuttles with many astronauts
I remember that day
being killed, right? It happened multiple times to the point that we only use rockets now. And the rockets are actually going up into space and landing and being reused. And I remember in the sci-fi I read in the 1950s and 1960s, rockets would go up and then land. And I remember, well, they were clearly wrong about rockets, and they were wrong that rockets could land. How dumb were they? But they were absolutely right. It just, for several decades, it looked like they were wrong because we went in another direction, but then we quickly realized, well, let's go back to rockets. So yeah,
that's
I'm sorry,
what Elon Musk, right? That's what SpaceX is, right? Like all that up there. The
Blue Origin, which is Jeff Bezos' company from Amazon, and SpaceX, which is Elon Musk. They try to reuse rockets. Sometimes the rockets blow up when they're launching, but otherwise, you can watch quite a lot of spectacular rockets landing in reverse and being caught by these giant arms. That's the idea now, is that you reuse them.
Oh, okay. I don't know about being out there in outer space, though. Like, I think I would be claustrophobic. I would think I was going to run out of oxygen. Like, I mean, I understand, like, so for instance, we were having this conversation with one of my friends. We were talking about why the hell are we in outer space? But if we didn't go up there and launch all these satellites, right? Because you have to put the satellite up there. We wouldn't have the communications that we have today.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of, I'm trying to think of things directly, but a lot of the technology that we use now was actually created outright, like a direct result of, or was highly influenced by space science. I'll ask ChatGPT for some, because I can't remember specifically. I think the MRI. So like if you have like a possible brain tumor or something, or you break a bone and you get an MRI, I'm pretty sure the MRI was developed because of some issue they were dealing with in space. And then they figured out, oh, we can just use magnets. Let me ask ChatGPT about that again. So I know the space program, the NASA space program, and you could also think about the European Space Agency or any space science over the last, 50, 60, 70 years. Are there direct connections to some of the technologies that we use now? For instance, I think MRI technology is a direct result of some sort of problem that was solved dealing with space science, space exploration. And now we use that technology to search for brain tumors and take images of broken bones, those sorts of things. Oh yeah, GPS is a huge one. I mean, we have GPS satellites that are out there. GPS wouldn't work without satellites. And in fact, GPS technology only works because we understand quantum physics. So normal physics are big things like planets and galaxies, solar systems, the sun, stars, black holes. Quantum physics is really small. And quantum physics is, this is a real short, I'm no expert, but this is a real short description. Quantum physics deals with probabilities rather than certainties. And classical physics is more like this is going to happen and we can show you why, where quantum physics is we think this is going to happen because it's more likely to happen based on these probabilities. Quantum physics.
There was a show.
Yeah, Pinky?
If I mean, Yeah, if I mean to interrupt, since we're speaking about quantum physics, I'll have to watch it again because I used to love watching it. There was a segment I remember watching it in the classroom. It was called "What the Bleep Do We Know?" and that's about quantum physics. Anyone watch that? They explain it so perfectly.
So let me know
It's
if this
called
matches. What the bleep do we? I wish I would have watched that as a kid. I
It's
don't
called
remember that.
What the Bleep. Yeah, it's called What the Bleep Do We Know? And they explain, because I remember sitting in this classroom thinking, what the hell is quantum physics? Because I remember a show called Quantum Leap
Quantum Leap.
back in the day in the 80s.
Yep.
Yeah.
Scott Bakula.
And so, So no, it's like quantum physics. Like I'll have to wrap my head around that one again because I haven't thought about that in a while. But you're right. It's the probability because I remember they were talking about bouncing a basketball. It's almost like how like we can manifest things, like like when we do like these dream boards and stuff like that. You can actually make your reality happen. Isn't that part of quantum physics?
It's not how I understand quantum physics. No, quantum physics.
Explain it again to me.
The one that what I understand quantum physics to be is, once again, the probabilities. It's super small, but then quantum physics, also quantum mechanics, also tells us that time is not universal. Time is subjective. So what that means is time is affected by gravity. So the closer you are to the Earth, the slower time moves, because the Earth has mass and it has more gravity the closer you are to it. You feel the effects of gravity the closer you are to Earth. If you're close to a black hole,
to go on vacation,
let me.
the equator.
I'm not an expert on this, so I think I'm going to have to finish this or I'm going to screw it up. And then if you're close to a black hole, which has so much mass that it condenses to a very small size, but it's very dense. So there's a lot of matter in a very small size. It has a lot more gravity. So the closer you are to a black hole, the slower time moves. What that means for GPS is that we can tell that time is different based on how close you are to the Earth and based on what part of the Earth you are on. It's a very small difference that no human being can tell the difference. It's so infinitely small that you can't tell the difference. But our GPS satellites in orbit around the Earth can measure that there is a difference in time based on where you are on the planet, or if you're a satellite that's orbiting the planet. And so this shows that quantum mechanics predictions about time being subjective are true, because the GPS satellites only work because they understand that time is not constant, it's rather subjective. Hopefully that makes sense. But to manifest things, that I don't think that has anything to do with quantum mechanics.
Went on. Someone's trying to call me again. I was reading, because I always like to talk about trippy things. So I believe that our Earth is, I forget the rotation velocity or miles per hour, or is it? But so we're like traveling through the galaxy. I think they said we're going 160,000 miles per hour in outer space, like spinning around and everything and floating, and we don't feel it. Like people think the Earth is flat still, right?
Yeah. So the Earth has two things. It has gravity, but it also has centripetal force because it's spinning. So you have the gravity, but I believe the force of the Earth spinning is actually much stronger than the gravity of the Earth. So I believe
you would think that we would feel like you would think that we would feel like we're on a merry-go-round. If we're spinning that fast, how come we don't get dizzy? How come we don't fall down?
That's a good question.
Kind of an interesting?
I believe it's because of the sheer size of the Earth rather than being like on a small roller coaster. But let's ask ChatGPT. We're kind of veering away from the AI conversation, but we're going to solve this question by using AI, so it makes a lot of sense. ChatGPT, Tell me about Earth's gravity and also the centripetal force that is created by the Earth spinning. Why does that not make us dizzy like it would if you were on a roller coaster? And is it true that the centripetal force of Earth is actually much more of the quote unquote gravity that we feel and makes us stay on the planet rather than gravity itself? Or am I incorrect about that?
Floating away.
So it sounds like I had this reversed. So the gravity is more important than the centripetal force, but the centripetal force is constant. So that's why we don't feel it, where a roller coaster is always changing. But I have another follow up here. So I think I reversed this. So what we feel on Earth is much more gravity than the centripetal force. But if you have like a space station out in space, or you have some sort of spacecraft, if it's spinning, doesn't that spinning, that centripetal force, actually mimic gravity? So you would have quote unquote gravity in space, even though you don't have enough material mass around you to actually have gravity? Yeah, so I think I confused myself because I knew that that's a way you can kind of create gravity artificially on spacecraft or a space station. But on planet Earth, what keeps us here and what we feel overwhelmingly is the gravity. So on Earth, it's the gravity, but in space, it would be centripetal force that would feel like gravity. And you can see that in some Hollywood movies. You'll see spacecraft that are spinning, and the reason that they spin is to mimic the gravity that we're used to on Earth. Whether or not it's a full gravitational effect like we have here, so it feels like we're on Earth, it's better than zero G. um we have zero G like on the space station, but or whether or not it's zero, we have much less felt gravity on the space station. But I guess there it works. But you could imagine if you were like living in space in some movie your entire life, you probably would want gravity at some point. And also, without gravity, like your bones apparently don't develop correctly. But to go back to your idea, Pinky, of like, how are they predicting all this stuff? This is all stuff that I read about when I was a kid, from like 1950s, 1960s sci-fi. I think they've known a lot of these concepts for some time now, but they weren't able to test them until we were actually out in space. But a lot of the things that I think we thought would be a problem with space travel and going to other planets actually turned out to be true. We just didn't realize that until we had data from the limited amount of space exploration that we have done. But Pinky, that was a fun side conversation. Let's go back to the AI. 1 second here. I'm going to play another sweeper.
This is Chance Encounters Live AI Conversations. Visit tr.ee/Chance Encounters for links to our live YouTube video stream, Buy Me a Coffee listener support, and X Spaces audio simulcast to call into the show live. Those and all other links at t.ee/Chance Encounters.
So let's go back to the AI. So the title of this show on my different platforms is "Do You Love or Fear AI?" Over on Stereo, I have a poll. Right now, we're about 70% says I love artificial intelligence, while about 30% says I fear artificial intelligence. What do you think, PE? Pinky? Do you generally feel good? Are you positive about AI, or do you think there are going to be many more bad consequences because of AI, either already or in the future?
I think we're heading in the right direction. I mean, as I, am packing up the house and putting stuff away, I miss my Google Nest. I miss asking questions because, back, I used to love to ditch school, right? So me and Sissy, this is one of my pals from back in the day. We would, I learned how to finesse my dad's signature, her dad's signature, and we would write our passes, but we weren't going out and causing trouble. We were actually in the library. We went to the Long Beach Public Library. This library was gigantic, and I had fun learning things. And I think that a lot of people, they don't want to read an encyclopedia or read books.
Let me understand. I just want to make sure I'm on the same page here, Pinky. You and your friend falsified passes so that you could go to the public library.
Yes. We were out. It was fun though, because you know why? We had some social issues back in the day where we just did not like some of our fellow students. So it was easier for us to stay out of trouble, go to the librarian, hand him this fake slip that we forged, and go check out whatever books we wanted. I learned more ditching school going to the library than I did actually in school. I was like teaching myself because I was learning about subjects that I actually really enjoyed. Well, just kind of how I am.
But if you were a student today, I don't think they would have paper passes anymore. They probably would require some sort of your parent would have to log into a website or text from a certain phone number so that they could verify. So you'd have to get your parents' computer or their cell phone and send a message. But then if they checked their device, they would see that I don't remember sending this. So in 2026, that would probably be harder than it was when you were younger, right?
It probably would be. I really did. I loved going to the library. I loved going to the librarian because I knew I could be there because we forged the passes. But I really learned how to use the Dewey Decimal System. Does anyone remember what that is? Does it still exist? The Dewey Decimal System?
I think it probably still does, but at my university, for instance, our main library, because we have many different libraries, our main library has almost no books now. Almost all of our books are digital, and our library is actually a lot of meeting rooms, a lot of relaxation areas where students can play games or just kind of hang out, have some comfy chairs. There's also some specialized technology rooms where you can have a meeting with a giant board that you can draw on with digital markers and stuff. But I remember years ago, this university's library actually was mostly books. And I think they decided correctly that nobody was going to the library. And now when you go to this main library, you can barely find a place to sit down because everybody is using it because it's a really comfy, fun place to be. But if there's probably, somewhere in the library that has books and they use the Dewey Decimal System if they're still there.
So now the libraries, if I'm understanding you correctly, libraries have turned more into an AI meeting place.
Well, that's at my university. I think if you went to the library in town, or if you went to a library in New York City or Miami or something, they probably still have books. But something that's changed in the last 20 years, at least in the libraries that I have used and had a card for, or I guess I would say an account, is that now you can check out digital books and you don't even have to go to the library, or you can get.
Wait, how do you check out a digital book? I've honestly never heard about it, going to the library.
Yeah, it's all digital. Yeah.
So do you have to use your tablet or your phone or your computer, and then
it's been a long time, but I remember checking out a book one time and I was able to get it on my Kindle, and then when I was done, I had to log in and say I was done with it because I think they only have so many digital copies. So if I have it, someone else can't have it. So then if I release it, then someone else can use it.
Oh, that's different. So it is still kind of like a library. It's digital now.
Yeah, I mean, there's still copies. So they only have so many copies of books, but you don't have to physically go there. And and you don't have to physically return anything. But it's not infinite. You have to. It's like if you have a Netflix account and you're using it, maybe someone else can't use it, and you have to get off so that they can use it. That sort of a thing.
So has the library changed since you said people like to lounge around and everyone's like on their computers or playing games? Do you have to be quiet? Do you have to use a library voice still and be like,
no, not at my university's main library. It is it's not like a cafeteria. Like people are not like running around and shouting and stuff, but it doesn't feel like a library. There are areas where you can study. They're basically zones. So the library, either by sections of a floor or an entire floor, will have a sort of vibe. And if you like that vibe, you go there, or you go to the other section, or you go to the other floor. But there are very specific areas that have been outlined to do this activity here and do this activity there and do this activity there.
It sounds kind of more of like a social gathering place now, because when we go to the library, it was like more independent. You'd sit at like these little desks that had dividers.
Yeah, they still have something like that, but it's not silent like a library when I was in my 20s or when I was a teenager or in elementary school. No, it's not like that at all. Now, I think we do still, because my university has several libraries, have places like that. Like I think the science technology library probably has a lot more of that. I don't go to that one. I just go to the main library branch on campus. But the main one on campus, I think a couple of years ago or within the last 12 months, last 18 months, whatever it was, they like completely shut it down and revamped everything and moved most of the books out. And now it's, as I described it, it's a place where you can, someone in my class goes to the library because they have a student group that plays Jeopardy in one of the technology rooms. So they have like a big touch screen that's on the wall, and they'll have teams and they just like play Jeopardy every week. So, I mean, it's a very different building than it used to be.
It sounds like it's like advanced so that it's allowing you to become more knowledgeable in like the AI way, right?
Well, I don't know if that is true or not. It certainly is a possibility, but I mean, I only go to the library. First off, I went to the library because I heard they redid it, and I'm like, oh, I want to go check that out. And I went back a couple times because it's so big. And there's so many areas that I just wanted to walk around the entire thing and just get in. Like they have 3D printers. There's a 3D printer section. So I just wanted to go around and just kind of get a lay of the land. But I haven't gone back because unlike my friend who's in my class, I'm not part of the Jeopardy group. I have no specific reason to go there. And if I'm looking for somewhere to hang out, there are other places on campus that I like for just hanging out. And if I have to do schoolwork, there are other places or even at home that I like to do schoolwork. And all of our books for all of our classes are digital. So I can do that from anywhere. So I don't know that the library is teaching me anything about AI, but certainly if I was interested in learning more about AI, I think our current library setup makes that more possible than it did before with just being books everywhere. But it's sort of like the library feels like just like a really big student center. It doesn't feel like a library, even though there are study areas, but there are other study areas on campus that aren't necessarily a library either. It doesn't, I don't know that it has a vibe. It just kind of feels like you can do anything in that building.
It's nice. I would go. I think for me, I think it would be a really nice social gathering, because I think you're going to be, whatever zone you're going into, you're going to be around those like-minded people that are learning what you're learning. You can bounce ideas off of each other, or go into like what you're doing with that. What is it that you ask the questions on? What is that thing called that you're using?
Oh yeah, I'm just using ChatGPT.
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 GPT. What does the GPT stand for?
That's a really, really good point. I used to know that at some point, and I completely forgot. Let's ask ChatGPT.
I don't know what the GPT stands for.
So, what does the GPT in ChatGPT mean? And also, can you give me a general history of ChatGPT? I think it was launched for public use for free back in 2022. Is that right? So,
So
Pinky,
is Chat
I'm sorry, go on.
GPT? Is it AI? Yeah, is Chat GPT AI?
Yeah, this is what's called an LLM. So why don't we just have ChatGPT explain all that to us? So ChatGPT is an LLM. Can you describe what LLM means and also talk about the different kinds of AI and talk about the future AI that everyone's talking about, which is agentic AI?
Ooh.
So Pinky, what kind of AI do you use? Do you use AI in your daily life?
Sort of. I mean, yeah, my Google Nest. I mean, if I needed to ask a question, I would ask it. But is it something that I do like a lot? Not really. I think I kind of keep things simple. But I do feel like a bit of a Neanderthal in knowing about all the technology that's out there. I'm kind of a little old school, right? I'm reading a book right now. I'm actually I'm reading The Mermaid's Tale. I
This is a
like
physical
doing,
book.
you know, a real book. Yeah,
Has
I
that
actually have
old
three.
book
I how many?
smell? I miss the old book smell.
Yeah, no, I have 4 books going right now. So I have The Mermaid's Tale, which is by Sue Monk-Kidd. It's a good book. I like keeping a lot of books going at the same time. I'm reading The Power of Thank You by Joyce Meyer. I'm also reading The Power of Intention by Dr. Wayne Dyer. I'm an ordained minister. So I've been reading about how to perform some ceremonies. And then I have this other fun book that a friend of mine who's an artist down in San Diego, his name is James Watts. He's a really cool artist. So he gave me a book called 50 Modern Artists that you should know about. So, yeah, I like to read. Um, sometimes I do shut down from the world. Sometimes I don't like to answer my phone or go on stereo or Facebook. You know, there's a level of privacy that I do like to keep, but then I feel like secluded a bit, almost reclusive. So, do I need to be more active and learn more about AI? Yeah, absolutely. My business partner, so it's my late husband's best friend. He's now one of my really, really good friends. He calls me his little sister. His brother and him are starting a new app on the internet. It's they don't know what it's going to be called yet, but it's going to be a content app. You know how there's content creators So they're creating this app, and I'm going to be a silent investor. So I'm going to give not a whole lot of money, but
You
what
should
I can
send me that in a message on Stereo or X or anywhere. I'd love to learn more about that, but please continue.
Yeah, no, it's going to be fun. So he just spoke about it to me just a couple weeks ago. And I said, well, I've got, a little chunk of change. And I said, I want to get in on this. And I said, and I guess it's called like for me, if I'm a silent investor, right, I'm not going to make any decisions, but I will, put up some money. And then whatever I earn from that, I'm just going to compound it and put it back into the company. And his brother owns, I forget what the name of it is up in LA, but he has some pizzerias. And this dude makes over $1 million selling pizza. And now he's bored with selling pizza, right? But I mean, it's because it's making a lot of money. So now they're taking it to the next level of what to do as far as business. So it is exciting. That's why I'm enjoying this conversation, the conversations that we've had, for a bit now. So yeah, I mean, I can wrap my brain around it. I'm teachable and I'm willing to learn. And I enjoy just, I know that we're very highly intelligent beings, right? All human beings are. Some of us choose to use our brains in certain directions in life, and other people go, a different way. And that's why not everyone is, a scientist, a doctor, brain surgeon, or be able to create businesses that are successful. So if I have this opportunity to dive into this, then yeah, I'm going to do it. And I think it's the future. I mean, it just is. And so it's exciting. But yeah, I'd be more than happy to share that. I don't. So it's like a content app for people that make content on the internet. And it's probably going to be a bit, and his brother's so smart. So Hector is going to be talking to me later today or tomorrow. But I'll ask him more about it, and I'd be happy to share it with you. So it's something different. It's not out there right now. So they brainstormed, they powered through, and they're very, very excited about it because so me and Hector, when my husband was alive, we were in the trucking business. I also own, my company's name was Consolidated Cemetery Consultants. And so we were in the cemetery business. And so now that my husband's passed away, I'm not doing that anymore. And the semi trucks are on hold right now because that is very expensive. We didn't realize how much the insurance, the diesel fuel, the drivers, the loads, it's a lot to handle. So those are just on halt right now. So I'm happy to do something like this, where I can, generate, what do they call it? Mailbox money, where I actually don't have to physically go work
Passive
or
income,
physically
right?
talk to. There you go. Thank you. Passive income. So, and I need that now. I don't have my breadwinner in my life anymore. I don't have my husband because when we were married, I just had to. So we were married for 16 years, but I actually didn't physically have to work. I put up my what's it called when we create those things? So we had American Freight Pros, we had Consolidated Cemetery Consultants. So everything was like
LLC?
under my name. Yeah, the LLCs. Thank you. So we had a couple of those. So I'm ready, to move on. Am I going to have that going? Yes. And then when I go down to San Diego, I'm going to go back to school because I just feel it's my and it's simple. It's not like anything big, but it's something that I do want to do. I want to go
doing like
to
a
cosmetology school.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering if you could do a certificate program or
Yeah.
something. I'm doing an MBA right now. I just did my first year.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, so I just want to kind of keep things a little simple right now. I used to cut my husband's hair for 16 years, so I'm self-taught. I cut my own hair. So it's just, I don't know why my mind is gravitating towards that. It's just something I feel that I want to do. And then have the content app, and I should be all right.
Yeah, the content app
we're
is
very well off.
really interesting to me. One of the reasons I'm doing these AI shows is because I want to apply for a PhD to finish my MBA and then have the summer and then go straight in, hopefully do a PhD. And I want to take my business background as well as my journalism background, which is what I did before starting my MBA, and kind of investigate the business opportunities of AI, which is we say concentration in the AI rather than the MBA program, because our degree is in business management. It's a master's degree, but the specific area is in artificial intelligence for business. So I'm really interested in the business opportunities and also just how AI is changing in general content creation. So yeah, tell me more about that app. Send me a message on Stereo or somewhere else. It's really fascinating to me. That's why I want to talk to people about AI. I want to know their thoughts, their fears, their positive attributes to AI, and kind of figure out what that means for the future in a business aspect. So, like this company that we were talking about, the AI sex robot named Emily. I would love to see their business plan, because from $4,000 to $8,000, I assume there's a lot of technology and production costs for each unit, but it might actually be quite low if they're selling lots of them, or it might actually be higher than $4,000 or $8,000, but they don't think they can sell it for that amount. So they're going to basically just sell it for cost at first. And then once it becomes, less stigmatized, more commonplace, maybe then the costs are lowered because they're selling more, and then they start making profits. So those are the sort of things I'm learning in school now, but I'm really always interested in how AI in business relates back to content. So that was really cool to hear that. Really quickly, I want to play a message now from Worm, and then we'll hear from Daz.
The Mermaid's Tale. It's funny because it's got two meanings.
Yeah, I was thinking about that actually. What is The Mermaid's Tale about? Is it anything having to do with the original Little Mermaid story, which I think comes from Denmark?
No, it's about excuse me, it's The Mermaid's Chair. It's called The Mermaid's Chair. It's about this woman whose mother chops off her index finger, and she has to go back to this island down in the south, like Louisiana somewhere, down like in the boondocks. And so I haven't gotten past that part. Her mom is works at the monastery. She's the chef for the monks. And it's just, it's not a real story. It's just, a fun little sweet story I'm reading.
That's way different than I would have guessed based on either The Mermaid's Chair or Mermaid's Tale. So, okay, glad you explained that.
Yes, The Mermaid's Chair. So the Mermaid's Chair, so she's the mermaid. So the mermaid, I forget what they call her, Saint. So it's the saint. The monks made her up. So she's supposed to help the monks fish. They have her like in their. It's not a synagogue. What are the monks are in? They're in a monastery.
Monastery, yeah.
Is that? Yeah, they're in the monastery, and everyone comes to visit the mermaid and sit in the chair, and she's supposed to like give you good luck. It's just a little fantasy story. But for me, visually, like when I read books, my mind really goes into, it makes like a movie. Like I see all the characters, I see the trees, the bushes, like everything that the author is describing. I can see. And so this is another thing that I'll be doing, which will be fun. I'm going to be writing a children's book. about fairies. So I'm really into fairies. I love them. I think they're fun. I have actually, which I got to tend to them today, 5 fairy gardens on my kitchen counter right now. So I made these little worlds. So I would go online and buy like little tiny fairy things, and I like glue them on, and I put little succulent plants in them. So once I get a little more situated, but I have a couple journals that I write in, that I really want to take it to the next level of branding, where not only are the kids buying the books, or they're on an app where they can do a digital book, but I want to like make it where they're buying the fairy, like they can make a fairy kit. They can, wear fairy pajamas, because we're going to have like nighttime fairy, dinner time fairy, bath time fairy, all the different little fairies that kind of teach kids, little life skills, swimming fairy. They can wear like all the different clothes. We'll have like little dress up outfits for them. Like the boys can, turn into a gnome or a troll. So I'm learning about all these different, what do they call them? They're like little entities. They're little creatures. So I like going into like fun stuff, but it's going to be something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I keep putting it off. So I'm going to really dive into that, writing the book and drawing and getting an artist together and more of a concept. So that's one of my little side hustles I'm going to do. But if I do it right and I can brand it properly, breaking into the children's market, because kids are always born every day. How many babies are born a day, right? They always say get into the pet industry, get into children, because that's something that's never going to stop. It just won't. But you got to do it right.
Well, yeah, if people don't buy Emily too much, people will still keep having children. So we got to hope for less Emily sales so that they buy your kids' books. Let's hear from Daz.
What are your thoughts on AI taking over apps? I don't know. This is what I heard. In other words, apps becoming extinct as we know them now, and AI replacing them. So that's why I was curious, because I heard you talking about investing in an app, but those two things don't really go together, right? If apps are becoming extinct, it might not be a great investment. I have no idea. I'm not a techie, so just wondering.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what Daz means by that, but what my mind goes to is that because AI does so many things now, we don't need some of the technology that we had in the very recent past. So, for instance, I'm in school right now. I'm doing an MBA program. I just finished my first year. Now I have my second year starting in the fall. When I did my first master's degree, like 6 years ago, I had to have a website to keep track of all of my citations for the papers that I had to write. And so if you typed in all the information, you could then say, I want APA or I want MLA. You decide the format that you're using, and then it would format it based on whichever format you needed. But you had to type the information in, or you could search the database that it had access to. And sometimes you could use some keywords and it would find it. So you didn't have to type it all in. But if it was really specific or something that was not listed in the database for whatever reason, you had to type it in by hand. And it was easier than trying to do it yourself, which is what I did as an undergrad many years ago. Literally just had to do it myself. And I would look at like a physical book that would say, this is how you do APA. And I'm sure all the stuff I turned in was wrong, but the professor would have to know that it was wrong or really investigate that it was wrong. So as long as it was like reasonable, usually that was fine. But now with ChatGPT or any other LLM, like Google's Gemini or Anthropic's Claude or insert, large company here, you just say, this is the source I'm using. I'm going to be doing APA or MLA. What is it? And it will give it to you. Or you could say, I'm writing a paper and I need some citations. What do you recommend? And it will give them to you. Now, even to this day, it will invent citations, it will invent references that do not exist. But all you have to do is, at least in my experience, tell it to double, triple check that they all are real, and then also provide a link to each one so that you can click on it and then find that it is a real thing and it's actually what it says it is. So the reason I bring all this up is because I don't need the physical book that I used as an undergrad. I don't need the website that I used 6 years ago. Now I can just do everything in ChatGPT. And so many things that I do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, both just as a human being that exists in 2026 and also as an MBA student, I do with ChatGPT. My university has a special relationship with OpenAI, the owners, the creators, the people in charge of ChatGPT. It's one of their products. And so I have a free, I think it's $20 a month. Otherwise, I have a free professional license. So it's not the free ChatGPT that you can get just by signing up, which is pretty good, but it has limits. Mine is the enterprise version that I'm sure has limits, but I never really reached them. So I have basically replaced a lot of apps and a lot of services in my life with ChatGPT. And if that's what Daz was talking about, I think a lot of that has already taken place. If not, will continue to take place here into the future. Pinky, do you have anything to add?
Oh yeah, I'm right here. Sorry, I'm doing 5 zillion things at one time right now. Yeah, I mean it can. I want to hear more from Hector and his brother about it. They're pretty smart guys, and I don't think apps are going to completely go away. So we'll have to see. I'm very interested in it, and there's been a lot of times where there's been things that have occurred in my life where I've come up with ideas and that I didn't jump on it, and then someone else did it, and I'll have to hear more about it. But Hector and his brother are very excited about it, and I don't think they're just on this like high, like, oh, we've got this great idea. They're really having business meetings and talking about it because his brother is going to fork over a lot of money to do this, and so we'll have to see. I mean, I'm more than willing to keep y'all posted about it, and it's exciting times, and we'll see, where it goes. People still use a lot of apps. There's so many apps out there, right?
No, there's an app for everything. And Pinky, I'm sorry to cut you off. I have to end the show here in about a minute or two, but we have a message from Carissa. So I want to play the message from Carissa, and then we'll end the show together.
Okay.
Hello to the panel. Hello, Chance, and hello, Pink Punky.
Punky.
Yeah, technology, AI. Do I fear AI? Yes, I do. AI is an artificial intelligence. It could do many things, but it could also guide us. I do like the aspect of having it guide me when I'm asking questions, what I want to do with my life, what I want to do with this. It'll always help me because it looks up for things that people are having trouble with, and it puts it all together. So I like that. I'd rather have AI use it for good use. I don't mind how certain pictures of me could be enhanced to a different way and change the perspective of that. Other than that, I'm not going to say everything I create is by me. When I use AI, I'm going to use it for the good of all kind. Yes.
Yeah, definitely issues that have already popped up and will continue to pop up. So I can echo some of those sentiments as well. Thanks for that. So we'll have to wrap things up. But Pinky, what do you want to say before we end the show?
Yeah, I just was really pleasurable to have a human intelligent conversation about artificial intelligence. So we'll have to see. I mean, we are evolving creatures. I don't think let's just start from the beginning when we're Neanderthals, right? We're cave people. Look at how far we've come. And I don't think it's ever going to stop. So we'll just have to see what the future holds. And it's exciting.
Yep. Thank you, Pinky. Hope to have you join me again. Carissa and everybody else, people whose names I can't remember because there's been so many people in and out of the show. Great to have you guys. Hope to have you again on Stereo. I'm also live a bunch of other places. So take a listen to this message here at the end. And until next time, take care.
This is Chance Encounters
Thank you.
Live AI Conversations. Visit tr.ee/Chance Encounters for links to our live YouTube video stream, Buy Me a Coffee listener support, and X Spaces audio simulcast to call into the show live. Those and all other links at tr.ee/Chance Encounters.